Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. All right. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for coming back to my house.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Sure thing.
It was a tough call.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you. First of all, sorry for being late. My computer kept crashing. It turns out when you don't log on to twitch.com for a month and a half, OBS just forgets how to work sometimes.
That is true facts.
Yeah. But we're here. I think things are working. I think audio is working. As always, I'll rely on the generosity of the folks in chat to mention how levels are doing. I, of course, have a real special little. I have my own little. Hi, welcome to my.
Fox mic super quiet.
Fox mic super quiet. Yeah, we're back to the original setup. Remember when no one could hear me and no one knew that I was part of the D&D?
They just thought we were just collectively DMing.
Oh, well, maybe we should turn that microphone on. That's probably what happened there. Hopefully that won't cause things to crash right away. Yeah, that line definitely wasn't turned on.
Well, that explains it.
Well, let's see if that works.
Hopefully that is better. Please let me know. Let me arrange things so that I am in a place.
They're going to miss your
Fox, you need to
sultry...
be louder. I am louder now. I hope that I am better. Maybe. Let me know. Bill, sound off. How are you?
I'm great. I'm doing
great.
fantastic.
Good. Herbie?
Hello, I'm doing fine.
Why don't we scooch that just a little bit closer to where you're at? I feel like these things probably capture within a pretty
Hello, I'm doing fine.
eat that mic.
Yeah, just shove it right in your mouth.
You gotta be like the radio personality. You just gotta dig in, just right up on it, and do your best radio personality voice.
No.
Everyone was like ready. Everyone was like prime.
I had no illusion that was going to happen.
I had a
Sultry
dream.
late night DJ.
Herbie.
Foxhound mic still isn't on.
Oh, no.
Is the Phantom Power on or?
The Phantom Power.
Don't touch the
should be
Phantom
on.
Powers.
This is here.
The
This is here. Yeah, no, it's cool. No, this is not on. None of this is on. That's what's going on.
Oh.
No, I've done that like 3 or 4 different times. It's a real problem.
It's a Phantom Menace.
Foxbot might be on though.
Whoa.
What?
We got woes now.
Whoa. Fuck my ears. Okay.
You're in the red. It up when it was off.
Red line.
Yeah.
Rip. Sorry, friends. Okay, we fixed it. We did a good job.
Yay.
Ears. Turn game down. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
They said there you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Here
Cool.
we
Cool. Yes, this is the very first session of a brand new campaign. It is the campaign debut of our Shadows of Eberron adventure. We'll talk a little bit more about what all that means. Let's do a little bit of bookkeeping. First of all, I'd like to welcome Brandon to the table.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
You may remember me from such films as That Time Cthulhu Ate Us All.
It's true.
And That Time That Herbie Murderous Us All in the Star Wars universe.
Oh man, remember when we played Star Wars? Not me. I scoured that from my gray
I
matter.
made a device.
It's true.
It accomplished very little.
We did eventually find the moon.
Yeah.
Which means
I'm
that
leaving out the best one.
Brandon's adventure there has been completed, so he's joined us here for a new one. What else? I have... it's been a month and a half since we played our Dark Sun campaign. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. We played a really long last session, and I think that we wrapped it up well, but I haven't really had the chance to get on and say thank you guys for an incredible session, for an incredible adventure, if you haven't seen it before, we had a 3-year-long campaign.
Well, we'd like to thank you as well.
Wait, you can't talk after you take your microphone off.
We would like to thank you as well.
Oh, shucks. And that's when Bill... Yes! Oh, man.
Wow, that sucks.
Uh-oh.
Oh?
There's a thing, and this is all for you. Everything, the bag, everything.
I'm being handed a. Oh my
And there's
god!
something inside of it as well.
There's something inside of it.
And I
Inside
have
the
two.
bag.
I have two stories about it too, but they're quick and go after you open it up.
Okay, so I've been handed a bag.
It's a visual medium, Brennan.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's just so big. I don't know how to get it.
That's actually
fully-
the biggest challenge with that gift is that removing it from the bag is actually kind of difficult. You got the right idea there.
I can't believe you opened my gift before me.
Oh yeah, it's a
Here,
little
why
tight.
don't you-
Yeah.
Here you go.
I think you get the other corners. It's a little
Yeah.
tight fit,
It lives
but it's so
in
you
the
can
bag.
easily
so
carry
big.
it.
Oh man, it's very good.
You heard him.
All right. What? Oh my goodness. So very first of all, there is emblazoned on the front, conveniently an advertisement for the webpage. Wow, that's amazing. First of all, and this seems to pop off the end here.
Oh no, don't do
Well,
that.
we
Oh,
just
no,
gotta let you
oh, no.
figure out what it is.
It's full of
So the,
coconut crabs.
These come off. You can just pull them off.
These come off.
Yeah,
and you
those
can
are
just pull
clips.
them.
That makes it portable.
Oh, they're magnetic.
Well, not
Oh,
magnetic.
man.
They just
They're not
they clip
magnetic.
even.
Whoa!
Oh, this is a huge
There are
disappointment. I
magnets
thought they were
inside
magnetic. Oh man, I love magnets inside. There's no. Okay, first of all, we've got one of the few D&D source books that I didn't have. Thri-Crane of Athos.
Nice.
Can I get a chalk saw?
Ah!
Well, you
I
just-
don't know what I'm doing with Chalk
I should
Saw.
mention it opens up.
There's so much
Sorry.
going on right now. All right, this looks like maybe a dice tower.
Yes, and it
Okay.
stays attached to it.
Is this a DM screen?
Yes.
It is. It is
Oh
a DM screen.
my god! This whole thing is a Oh boy!
Yep.
This whole thing is just a gigantic modular DM screen
Yep.
with a dice tower.
That is a
and
Pieces
magnet.
falling out.
Magnets. This is so cool. Oh my god, these literally are magnets.
Yep.
They're like
Yes.
little things you can use to keep your notes to.
Only on the middle parts.
Only
yes.
on the little nodes.
The wood is not magnetic.
Oh my god, you guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh man.
And just for a little bit of advertising.
Yes.
That's who made it.
Oh.
Their name is Harp's
Just
Corpse.
hold it to the camera, I guess.
Harp's Core. I mean, there's cameras over there too.
True. Oh yeah.
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 There you go.
Holy
Or yes, this
guacamole.
one.
Either one. No, that one's not on.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, it was Harpscore, gaming accessories. They're on Etsy as well.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. That is absolutely spectacular. I wish I'd given my thing first. this order of operations is gonna look kinda okay.
Size Snickers.
Thank you all so much.
This is Sophie Joe.
So when each of you got here, I don't have Xanathars yet. No, thank you. But it comes out next week, something like that. Although maybe Polo, hello. Hi. Did you know I have a dog? Let's meet him. Polo.
Don't show your feet.
I almost showed my feet. Actually, I'm pretty sure I just waved this straight past my crotch.
Well, that's-
Hello.
That's
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah, that part is fun.
That's
Everyone
fine.
loves it when
Don't
you
show
do that
them.
on Twitch.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Hi, Polo. Yes, when you all arrived here, I believe you got a little envelope.
Oh.
You can go ahead and open that. Just a little commemoration of the end of our Dark Sun campaign.
Tickets to an ice skating event.
Ooh.
Nice.
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 Golden feathers.
Nice.
Brandon, of course, you weren't in our Dark Sun campaign, so I just wrote you a nice note.
It is very cool though.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Thank you.
Nice.
And of course, everyone else, I hope you'll recognize if you remember, like story elements or whatever.
Of course. I was
Yeah.
drunk for the entire dark.
Oh my god.
I was as well.
I was not.
Cool. Well,
Yes.
do you guys want to play some Dungeons and Dragons?
Heck yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Rachel, you are really out to get my goat. You have just
Adorable.
you've got my goat by the ears, and you are just not gonna let go.
Well, not until we feed it to those coconut crabs.
Oh my goodness, we talked a lot about coconut crabs.
But you don't have a goat. You have a polo.
Apparently they ate someone famous.
Maybe. It's
Maybe.
unclear.
Coconut crab talk.
I
Are
don't
you?
want to spoil it for
I'm
the
going
viewers.
insane.
I don't want to spoil it for the viewers out there, but the coconut crabs ate someone famous.
Just Google coconut crabs,
Or
famous
both.
person, maybe potentially.
Probably work.
But depending on what website you get, if you get like a Wikia entry, don't look that up because I don't want to see someone's crab sona unless I'm the one that drew. Well, speaking of crab sonas, let's play Dungeons and Dragons. So our last game took place in Dark Sun. Dark Sun was a post-apocalyptic world. It was a world ravaged by magic. It was a place where everyone was reviewed with suspicion, where civilization, such as it was few and far between. For this adventure, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going somewhere where magic is a part of everyday life, where whether you're sending a piece of mail, riding on the railroad, or just taking the cab to work, probably you're interacting with magic in some way. Farmers hire weather mages to ensure good weather for their yields. Generals hire war mages to make sure that they have proper artillery when they go to wage war. And when people go to forge things, both in terms of blacksmithery and in terms of copycattery, there's always going to be a little bit of magic involved. This is the world of Eberron, where there is a continent completely overrun with magical technology. There's zeppelins and airships crisscrossing the land. There is great armies that are growing restless and an uneasy peace. There are enormous cities where there are tremendous magical works. We're sort of, if you imagine, looking at the continent overall, focusing in on the greatest of these cities, Sharn, the city of towers. A city literally built vertically where there's these massive skyscrapers that hover magically within the air. But we're not quite up at those heights right this second. We're maybe a little bit further down, past the theater district, past the merchant district, closer to ground level, down into the depths, into maybe a little bit worse territory, until you get to prison.
Bacon Town. Oh.
Okay, thanks, Bill. That was a great opportunity to just like drop that out there. Why don't you take your Dungeon Master screen? Gosh almighty. Prison. And if you'll give me just a half second. We open up on a room where a magical camera is taking mugshots. And they're not static pictures, they're like little videos. They're almost like Vines. They're this world's version of yeah, it's a world where Vine still exists. It's very good. It's very good. And there's a city guard, a very gruff-looking gnome, standing here, operating the device, waving people in. He looks at your character. He's... Brandon, why don't you give us a little bit of a glimpse as to who it is that we're seeing in front of the camera here?
So we're seeing Farran Keaton. He's a shifter of the wild hunt variety, which means, for those who aren't, I guess, Eberron familiar, they're the were-touch.
Yes.
They are not lycanthropes, but they're related to them.
Your grandfather was a lycanthrope.
Yes. As per the channel branding, Farran is actually like part fox.
Thanks for the branding, Brandon.
I'm Brandon. I brand the branding.
Can you raise the voice volume or lower music?
Yes, I can do both of those things. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
No worries.
And while you might not know it from looking at him in the prison clothes, was actually trained.
You're still just dragged in, so you're basically being checked in, so you're just wearing whatever it is that you'd be wearing.
Okay. He's actually been trained as a monk, although perhaps not in where you would typically think of, there being a monastic retreat. His order was more essentially like a group of assassins in a rough part of an even rougher town. And he'd been dispatched on a mission here in Sharn that where things went wrong.
Lobos ushers you in. What are we seeing?
My character's name is Ries, and he is a member of House Lyrandar, which is an half-elven house, and there's something called Dragon Marks, basically, where as kids, they are tested to see whether or not they take these tests where they're very put under very stressful situations to see whether or not they are dragon marked, which basically allows them to use the power of or harness the power of their house.
Yeah, so there's 12 houses in the realm, and basically they have the market cornered on a particular thing, whether it's airships or protecting things or punching things or locating things. There's a particular sort of sphere. Player mics are muted or off. That doesn't seem right.
Hello.
Hello.
Boom,
Hi.
boom.
Hello.
Boom, boom, boom.
I see Lobos is pulsing.
That's when I'm eating it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just raise the overall gain. Those two sliders in the bottom here. Yeah. So we're getting
Testing.
3/4 up the way.
Oh, this thing reacts. Okay, let's go in order.
Yeah.
Brandon.
I'm speaking into the yellow. Now back down to
Jeff.
Yes. Regular talking.
Rachel.
Hello, I'm talking.
How's this work?
Bill.
Make sure this face that's got to face you.
Oh gosh. No. Okay. How
Better.
about now?
Same with that.
Oh.
Thank you all so much. Sorry for bearing with us. We're not expecting to use the headsets. I'm hoping to get my hands on some lapel mics sometime soon. If you're interested in helping the stream out, a donation would go directly to lapel mics. Anyway,
So anyways,
Yes,
Dragon Mark,
right.
but Ries failed the test and is not Dragon Mark and kind of looked down on the rest of his family, by the rest of his family. So he kind of dived into seedy rituals in the way of gambling and using magic to cheat his way through gambling. And then he was approached to take part in some other activities, which bring him to where he is now.
Gotcha. Brandon, why don't you do yours over again? The gnome sort of...
I'm still... This character is still Farran Keaton and is...
Well, no one on chat managed to hear
Hello.
what it is that you're doing.
So, he's a...
It was just a brand new character. The chat heard that one and they were like, what else you got?
Well, my name is Coconut Crab. Yeah, so,
I knew I should have played Amelia Earhart.
Farran Keaton is a wild hunt shifter, which is a new race for Eberron that are essentially part lycanthrope, but not fully. They had their grandfather's grandfather was aware of something. Yeah, I have chosen wisely not Coconut Crab, but instead has an ancestor who was some sort of were-fox. As per the channel branding, hi, I'm Brandon, channel branding, that joke is now audible.
It was real good, though.
It was real good. We're all very
And,
proud
It's
of you.
right on brand.
So he's been trained as a monk, but not by your typical monastic order, but rather an order that was essentially a group of assassins in a bad part of an even worse town. And he was essentially dispatched on a sort of urban ninja mission here in Sharn where things went wrong, and now he has ended up here.
Ikasa, you are ushered in.
Ikasa, or Ix, is a short, almost frightfully skinny, half-orcish woman. Most notably, the left side of her face and arm, whatever exposed skin is there, is just covered in these really awful, weird burn scars. Enough that they crawl up into her scalp, and some of her hair has been shaved away to accommodate. She wears a pair of dark-rimmed glasses, but you can just tell underneath her features are gaunt and really just tight. Even her left hand, at a first glance, it looks like maybe she's wearing a gauntlet, but when you look closer, it's clear that it's more like a metal skin graft, just like locked down on top of the skin and bone of her hand. And everything about her is just worn out. Like her clothes are tattered. She has one of those capes with like the fur thing, but all of that's just like matted and tattered, and along the bottom of it, it's clearly just been tread on way too much, holes in her boots and stuff. She just looks real bad off, even among a line of prisoners. She was a
The
veteran.
gnome sort of waves as a bit of her BO AoE just sort of extends a little too close.
Look, it's been a hard time. Mikasa fought in the war, which was 4 years ago.
That's correct. The last war, nearly a century.
I'll take a point of inspiration.
I mean, Lobos knew one of the house names.
It's his character.
Look, I did the research, okay?
He did do
I
the
am
research.
proud of you, actually. I thought it was like Marcus 2. No,
Marky Mark.
she fought in the war as like a scout and a medic and an archer, and befell just a really bad magical curse during it that seems to be haunting her still. But really, more than that, she's just struggled to find anywhere to land in the world. She's addled by drug addiction. She's lonely. She's traumatized. She's physically damaged. There's a lot going on here. Thanks for playing with me in Dungeons &
Yeah,
Dragons.
the gnome has clearly like had enough and is like
Just go.
shuffles you off and ushers in Lynette. Rachel, tell us a little bit about Lynette.
Lynette is currently dressed in some quite nice finery, long red hair. She's shoved in front of the camera, and one of the guards sort of gets a look, reaches over, pulls off the red wig, revealing short, sandy blonde hair. And as he does so, Lynette goes from looking very just like prudish and up to... she is a confidence woman who was originally raised by a faith healer, and much that tradition of being able to perform in front of a very large crowd, performing miracles that she never really believed in. She got fed up with that kind of thing, including using religion to bilk people, and then ran away to the city, where she wound up using religion to bilk people. Because it turns out you need...
Did you say bilk?
Bilk.
Okay.
Conning, bilking, yeah.
No, I know what bilking is. I thought you were saying bill.
She would bill people for her services.
No one deserves that.
Yeah. It's a service fee.
Where she would take on various roles about the city to live off of the misplaced trust of the upper class.
So what I'm getting is that you're a totally trustworthy cleric,
Absolutely.
and that not only should we believe what you say, but we should give you some money.
Absolutely. That sums it up.
The gnome isn't having any of it, and he shoos you out of the room. And raises a bit of an eyebrow as Medevra gets ushered in, but nonetheless.
Right, Minerva, or Maddie to her friends, which is no one here yet, is a human woman. She seems to find her current circumstances ironic or amusing, judging by her expression, which makes sense because she actually used to be pretty solidly on the right side of the law. For 3 years, she trained as a King's Shield, which is a group, an official government group of bodyguards used for guarding nobles, members of the nobility, royalty, that sort of thing. She finally got her very first assignment, hey, pretty easy one. This country bumpkin noble and his son are in town. Guard the son for a night. He's just going to go have a night on the town. Seemed easy enough. Went to a tavern, there was a little bit of drinking, but the problem came with the gambling. Apparently this bumpkin's son was very good at gambling, much to the chagrin of one of his opponents who stood up and drew a sword. Of course, being a bodyguard, Medevra intervened by stabbing this fellow behind the kneecap, crippling him. It turned out this fellow was actually pretty important. He was an heir to one of the major houses in Sharn, and that's kind of a problem. And you're like, okay, well, magic's everywhere. Surely he could get that healed. No, actually, that same house is in a 30-year feud with the house in charge of healing. Apparently his father went in person. This is rumor. My character doesn't know this for sure, but rumor says he went to the house in person, got on his knees, and begged them to heal his son, the heir to his house, and apparently was told to go screw himself. That feud will probably go on another 30 years at least, but short version is there's a house heir that is permanently crippled, and Medevra quickly found herself thrown out of the King's Shields, using, of course, the political influence and vengeance of that fellow.
Sure.
And not long after that, she found herself recruited into her current circumstances.
Yeah. And finally, a large, heavy suit of armor seems to be ushered in. Give us a little bit of a visual look at what we're seeing here, Bill.
Okay. Ark he's a warforged. He's
But wait, what is a warforged?
Never heard of
Warforged
this.
is kind of a construct, totally a construct actually. So he's like, Ark is like made out of little like stone plates and wood and like rock and metal, not actually flesh and blood. Ark is.
Wait, so he's like a robot?
He's like a robot. Yes, Ark is very robot-like.
Immune to coconut crabs.
Immune to coconut, yes.
Not interesting.
Coconut crab immunity. At first, Ark doesn't move up. He doesn't realize what's going on, and then someone kind of behind him pushes, and Ark's like, "Oh, what? Oh, right. Sorry."
Stands like a little bit too far out of the camera view.
Yeah, Ark's like over here. So Ark 02A is Ark's full name. Ark's a warforged that served in the war as well. The 33rd Regiment as a quartermaster's assistant for Breland. After
The
Ark,
country that we're in.
Yeah, the country that we're in. After the war finished, pretty much all warforged were like given their freedom. They were kind of allowed to be their own people, and for Ark that was terrifying. And Ark had no idea what to do. But so Ark sought the first thing Ark knew, which was crafting and making things. Because as a quartermaster, Ark was mostly into forging things. Long story short, that didn't work out. Ark decided to make an assistant for Ark's self, a little robot named Covenant, who is just a construct, not a warforged.
Would you call him the coconut crab of robots?
It is. It's kind of like a coconut crab, kind of. It's
Timely,
got a hard
timely.
shell and
And little eye stalks.
little eye stalks, yeah, and
Yep.
it's got little arms that pop out.
Yep.
How many would it take to devour an airship pilot?
Two.
That is
One to
not.
hold him down.
Well, that really explains why you got kicked out of the smithy for having created such a monster.
But, so it's illegal to make more warforged, and although Ark didn't make another warforged, the perception was this warforged is making more robots. Holy crap! So Ark kind of got kicked out of there, and another long story short, Ark kind of drifted in with the wrong crowd. Not because Ark wanted to do wrong, but just because they saw use in Ark, and Ark got used, and eventually, long story short, got pinned for being the head of a terrorist organization.
Oh, the Veiled Alliance.
Yeah, failed alliance. But Ark kind of keeps it on the down low. Not many people know about that, so. And that's where Ark is at now.
Sure. I think you, with great difficulty, get
Yeah.
ushered out of this room
Fine,
and into the next room. A long table awaits you, and everyone is already seated. They have their hands cuffed to loop around the table. With great difficulty, someone... Sit. Nope. Sit.
What?
Sit.
Oh, right. Sorry. And then Ark kind of breaks the chain. Oh, right. Yeah.
You're sat down and recuffed once again, and the guard leaves. And just as soon as the guard leaves, a very stern-looking woman comes in. She's basically every element of her, every bit of her clothes, her belt, her hair, her skin, is just a little bit too tight. It's like everything's just pulled back just a little bit too severely. She looks like she'd be right at home hitting someone with a riding crop, if that were the circumstances. But here she is clutching a notepad stuffed full of papers, looking over each of you, seems to be analyzing either some information or perhaps the portraits that were just taken of you. I am Inspector Graves. I'm here to discuss the circumstances that led you to this place. I'll tolerate no tomfoolery.
Oh, okay.
No lying. No fibbing. No bending of the truth. I want everything as precisely as it happened. Now.
Cribs, I swear.
What were you doing on that train? I should have queued this up.
Oh no!
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Nice.
The night previous.
Wow.
We cut away from the prison to see, at night, hurtling away from Sharn, a House Orion lightning rail. It's the pride of House Orion. It's a tremendous, many card vehicle, maybe 20 cars in total, mostly passenger, with some freight in the back. And spread throughout the train are our shadows. There are 2 keys that open the vault that contain the prize that you're after. One of them is carried by a security guard that patrols the freight section. One is carried by the security chief, who usually spends his time in the passenger section. Some of you can start in the back, some of you can start in the front. Where would you like to be? And what would you like to know in order to accomplish your goal?
Are passengers spread throughout, or is it mostly in the back, mostly in the front?
So the freight section has no passengers in it. It's entirely suitcases and stuff like that. If you're back there, you're already not supposed to be there. If you're up front, it's because you have a ticket of some kind. There are, let's say, 8 passenger cars total. 4 of those are just residential cars where there's night beds, seats. If you're just there to sit in your seat and just read or something like that for the entire time, you're going to be in one of those. The other ones, there are a recreation car, a dining car, a gaming car, and it's called a spa car. Most people don't go there unless they're really looking to wind down, get a massage, maybe even take a steam bath or something like that.
Do we absolutely believe that we must have these 2 keys to get into the area we're trying to get into?
You have... So Colette, who is of course your point of contact, the person that has recruited you for this job, has said as much as that it's very likely that you're going to need both. She has utter faith that you'll be able to pull off this job. However, the circumstances of the lock that are protecting the freight car are such that if you don't have both of those keys, you'll probably have Horse. That's going to be fun. House Orion and possibly House Kundarak standing on your throat before it's too late. Before too long, rather. Before it's too late. Come on, Brennan, get it together.
Too late.
Basically, there's security measures there such that if someone tries to break in, bad things are going to happen. With both keys, at least, they'll think that someone is getting in that's supposed to be able to get in.
What's the complement of guards other than the 2 that we already know have the keys?
So there are at least 5 other security guards, but they're spread throughout. Probably 3 of them are going to be on duty at any given point in time. And one of those will always be guarding the very frontmost car, the engine, which isn't itself an engine, really. It's where the wizard that controls the train overall, just sort of maintains things. The entire vehicle is basically powered by a lightning elemental that's bound to the train. And it's not actually on rails, despite the name. There are basically, it's almost like a hoverboard, where there's a series of gravitational stones that suspend the train up in midair, and then there's a second set of stones that bind it to that track. So it's basically hurtling through midair by virtue of the fact that it's got a lightning elemental just shooting it forward.
So 2 things.
Yes.
Ix would definitely be in the back where you're not supposed to be. She's not here to mingle. Okay, actually 3 things. Do we have magical walkie-talkies as part of the shadows?
You do not.
Okay.
Oh crap!
Good.
No.
Nice.
Okay, and then
I want like a magic earbud.
3rd thing, what is the situation like moving along the top of the train? As a skilled acrobat, would I be able to?
It's definitely within the realm of possibility. This thing's going maybe like 40 or 50 miles an hour,
Okay.
but that's at the very top end.
Okay.
One of the cameras is frozoed.
Oh no.
This one.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
sounds
me and
like
Lobos are here, so done.
I'm not sure what to do other than like maybe restart the stream.
Can you remove it and then re-add it?
I could try to do that.
It's about to crash.
No Crash Arena.
Goodbye, stream.
No crash arena.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Stop.
It's still frozen is the thing.
Give me some water, please.
Unplug and replug. That's my only other.
Unplug. Daring.
I can do that.
Okay. Let me remove it again.
Okay.
Okay, it's removed.
It's unplugged.
Please stand by.
Is this part of the mission? Is this? This is very. I'm immersed.
That is a good question. Is there any surveillance magic tech?
Is there any surveillance what?
Magical technology that we need to be aware of?
There probably. Oh, it's still frozen. It is weird. All right. Well, I don't think we're gonna get a better break point than this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reboot it. I think.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Good luck.
I mean, I can't think of anything else to do. Okay. We're gonna reboot. We'll be right back. I promise. Unless my computer crashes, in which case we'll be back soon. Be right back. We're back. But Lobos has disappeared.
Finally.
He's been murdered. Now the real game begins. Who killed Lobos Jr.?
It was Polo.
It was Polo. You solved my mystery.
Statistically, it probably happened while he was on camera, so it's a real easy mystery.
It was coconut crab.
It was coconut
That
crab.
was definitely me.
Okay. We're back on the train. Ask more questions. Yes, Rachel had just asked about magical surveillance. There definitely are magical eyes that exist. However, you've not... So usually those kinds of things need to have a particularly dedicated kind of control room that isn't featured on these trains.
Okay.
If you're sneaking into like a base or something like that, it's not uncommon to find them, but not on a train. Or an airship, for that matter.
But there may still be auditory alarms. Do we know anything about
Oh,
how those are set
yes.
up?
No, not above and beyond the fact that the alarm spell exists.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my current thinking would be as a stealthy character, I'd want to be in the back, and I at least have the potential capacity to pickpocket. So if it comes down to that, Ix could take that on. She can also move to the top of the train if we need to do any maneuvering from there. That would basically be her take on what her role could be.
Yeah, I think Farran similarly would want to be on the backside team.
Okay, cool.
And if we have to...
Backside.
Yeah. And also, I guess I'm curious as to what sort of weapons and training the guards are likely to have.
Very likely going to have, like, basically magical shock sticks. But above and beyond that, not necessarily professionals. So part of what's going on here is that the item in question, the satchel containing the ancient relic that Colette wants you to retrieve, was under very, very heavy guard when it was being loaded onto the train. House Orion has House Kundrak, the bodyguard house, on full-time retainer when it comes to loading and unloading. However, when it's in transit, it's all House Orion, which is usually fine. They're usually not in circumstances where horses are going to ride along. I mean, there are fast-moving creatures, certainly, but lightning rail usually moves too fast for those sorts of things to catch up. And if you're riding on a dragon or something like that, you probably deserve to be able to rob the train.
Hell yeah. Are the cars detachable?
They are detachable, yes.
They gotta be. Come on.
Yeah. No, I mean...
They're 100% detachable, yes.
Okay.
However, they are magically bound together using the same magnets. The magnet technology.
Magnets?
Magnets.
If we
Yeah.
were to
Magnets,
car,
which is
it would
just the
stay.
proper pronunciation of magnets.
So even if we detached a car, it would keep staying with the others, like we can't separate them?
Or they
Oh,
can
no,
kill
that's
them
not what I mean.
Without
It-
an Arcana check.
Yeah, we had
Exactly,
To break the
yes.
spell on.
Yes.
On the binding.
Would that be an Arcana check, or is it more involved?
You'll have to try to find out. You've never detached a train car mid ride.
Hey, don't you
Before.
tell me my story.
Typhon correctly points out that magnets themselves are magic.
It's true.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case.
Magnets, how do they work?
So yeah,
They're magic.
Lynn is absolutely in the social cars.
Got it.
Like she's up there and she's planning to talk her way and possibly get a person to drink too much to make it a little bit easier to get the chief guard who hangs out at the front of cart's key.
Okay, Maddie.
I'm gonna wait for last couple to decide.
Okay.
She's actually flexible.
Reese?
Over she can go.
Reese is gambling it up in the games room.
Okay,
God,
spectacular.
he's on a mission.
He's gonna blend in by
Thanks.
playing as himself.
Okay, sounds good. Arc.
Can I split myself between the cars? I would actually like Ark
I'll
to go.
carry his head.
Yeah. I'd like Ark to go up front, and
Okay.
I'd actually send Covenant with them in the back.
So, what degree of autonomy does
Covenant can
Cov have?
understand what people say, but it can't really reply in a meaningful way that people would understand. But
I feel like in this
it has
particular,
an intelligence of 3.
yeah. So I feel like in this particular circumstance, you've worked with one of these people once before. I'm not sure that you'd send Cov off just with a bunch of strangers right away.
Okay.
That said, you can go to either location yourself.
Well, I'm not. I think I would only hurt a stealth mission if that was anything having to do with stealth.
Yeah, Ix would be like, no offense, baby doll, but maybe you should go up front.
You sure about that? Blank. Okay, I'll go up front.
In that case, Maddie will go in the back with
Okay.
the other stealthy folks.
Sounds good. Well, let's look really quick up at the front where in the gaming room, we of course have Ries sitting at a card table with a bunch of other folks playing blackjack.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know how to play that. so
Yeah, well, good.
I can roleplay that.
Well, you're playing real...
21, I won.
You get 21 again, and the
Magic
dealer...
number is 20 in Eberron.
You just lost. Barely. That's the worst.
No, the dealer is maybe a little bit surprised that you've gotten 21 just again, but she doesn't go out of her way to show too much surprise. Although some of the other folks at the table that include the security chief are a little bit like...
Well, he'll play it down and make sure it's not too suspicious.
Okay,
He'll lose
okay.
a lot after that.
Okay,
It'll be
that's
like
fair, that's fair.
luck streak, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Lynn, what are you doing up here in the gaming car? There's plenty of other tables that you could be at. There's a very long bar that runs across half the side of the thing.
She's going to be at the bar trying to keep an eye on who's around, but mostly keeping her eye on the security. The security chief, trying to see, is he drinking? What's he up to? What's he paying attention to? What's he talking about?
Right now, he seems to be losing money, and that's about it. Ark, what are you doing?
Ark's probably going to be... Well, if we want coverage, I guess someone should probably be in the passenger car. Maybe I'll just be riding in the seat. In the
Okay,
passenger car.
that's fair.
Just kind of trying to blend in. Maybe
Absolutely.
Probably taking up his own... I don't know if they're dual seats or individual seats, but he's probably just like, well, I need one seat to myself because I'm too big.
I think you see like a little girl like a few seats up that's like... who's maybe never seen a Warforged this close up before, and is like...
After a while, Ark's just kind of like...
"Ugh." And then like 10 minutes later, he's like...
And Ark will kind of like tap Covenant, and Covenant will kind of like eye stalk wave.
Meanwhile, in the back, I think probably you've all taken up a pretty good hiding spot behind some crates. There's a lot of luggage back here. Most of it is bound up against the walls and stuff like that. And you're in like the second to most rearmost of these cars. There are what do we say? We said 8 passenger cars. There are 8 freight cars in addition. And somewhere in the mix is the high security one that requires the 2 keys that you need.
Do we know which one that is?
You're not sure. No, you just know that it's somewhere within. It's not the one behind you, so it's got to be one of the 6 in front of you.
Okay, so we know that's the one. Those are the 2 we know. Okay.
So we're essentially at the very back.
You're the second to back. You're not in the caboose.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Is the guard are any guards currently in our?
No, not at all.
Quick question: what's the caboose used for?
The caboose is
Yeah.
It's just full.
kind of the caboose is where the crew can take a load off. That's sort of the rest area for the people that work on the train.
Gotcha.
I have a question. How smooth is the ride of the train?
It's extremely smooth. It's very, very good.
Or at least it would be if Ikasa wasn't like shivering next to you.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably a bit eyebrow raising to have her on this mission with you because right now she looks awful. Like
Yeah.
she's like,
She's having shakes.
and she sort of like digs around in a bag and gets out like one of these like rolled tablets, and it looks like she maybe picked it up off the floor. There's like dirt and hair on it, and she just like stuffs it in her mouth. It's like,
Man, it sucks when you want to try to do something as a group and one person is super sick.
and super high.
Yes, also that.
Would it be appropriate to try and like roll some sort of knowledge to figure out what that substance was?
You can give me a message check.
Or medicine check?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or yeah, okay. Because I'm like, what's that?
16.
She on drugs.
14.
Not clear. Whatever it is, it's pretty well gross.
Yeah.
A little hairy.
Like it's the sort of thing that's like almost like rolled up in some sort of like a chewy substance or something like that to make for easier consumption.
It looks like probably like a bunch of different powders and herbs rolled up with like a binder.
Sure. You can all three of you give me a perception check, however.
Natural 20.
A natural 20? Wow.
I'm so fucked up right now.
You can see everything.
21.
I only have 16. I feel underperceived.
No, you're fine. All three of you are somewhat distracted from your pill-popping friend,
Including the pill popping.
who refers to herself in the third person once she's loaded, by a sound that wasn't there just a little bit before. You hear sort of a weird, sort of high-pitched drone. Seems to be coming through the air, and it seems to be coming from further down the train car that you're in.
I'm trying to think what we would do if we wanted to try and identify that. Maybe would that be like Arcana? Because that
Does it sound like mechanical or magical?
It does sound mechanical.
Somebody's electric toothbrush went off. It's
Please roll your knowledge.
Hausorian policy is always to refer to a dildo.
Would knowledge of
Your
tinkering be appropriate for making a check on this?
Knowledge
Yeah, I'd say so.
engineering.
Alright. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
okay.
It's a dildo.
It's not.
What's the future?
Oh, good.
It definitely sounds like mechanical wings of some kind, perhaps some sort of a small construct. But you don't remember. You remember specifically Colette saying that there weren't that kind of thing on this train.
So there's still. Well, does it sound like it's in our car or in a different car?
It sounds like it's in your car and it's headed your way.
She kind of looks at, catches both of the eyes, and she makes that kind of
Oh,
sound.
butterfly wings.
She'll unshoulder her crossbow and look at Maddie.
And he's also got her crossbow and is looking at it. Guys, can we see anything yet?
You see basically what looks like a small flashlight sort of looking back and forth between the train cars. Or not between the train cars, between the luggage collected in this room.
What kind of path is it taking?
It's meandering down the center. It seems like it's scanning left and right as it's going down.
Is it missing any spots if it's light, or are we pretty much going to get identified pretty easily?
So I think you guys are behind a set of crates. So if you wanted to steer clear of whatever, it's not being like 100% thorough. It's more like it's just sort of pacing down. So if you wanted to hide from it, it wouldn't be like an impossible task.
Yeah, Maddie will hit the or no, sorry. Ix will hit the deck and sort
Would
of
it
slide
be
back deeper
possible
into the crates.
to avoid it by getting higher up on top of boxes?
Oh, you could get high. You could get high all day
And
long.
avoid it.
That was my last one.
So the source of the light seems to be coming from pretty high up.
Oh,
If you wanted to get higher of it, you'd probably need to like spider climb or something like that.
Yeah, I can't do that yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Eventually.
Maddie will put away her crossbow and work on trying to avoid it, since that seems to be what we're going
Okay,
to do.
why don't all three of you give me a stealth check?
Natural 20.
That is also a total of 22.
yeah, our car is not going to have nearly.
I have
results.
16, which I used to think was a good
I'm like talk to a guy and roll a 2, and we're going to get thrown off the train.
It's time for me, Brendan, to roll a die.
That's exciting though.
We're the distraction team.
Yeah.
You go to hide, and two people seem to have taken the good hiding spots already.
Oh no.
And so you sort of squirm into the corner, but thankfully the flashlight seems to just drift on past you. And now that the source of the light has finally like passed by, your eyes adjust a little bit, and it looks like basically an enormous metal dragonfly. It's maybe about the size of your forearm, with big, wide, frantic-looking wings with an enormous spotlight on the front that seems to be flying past.
How hard does it look to break?
I mean, dragonflies aren't known for their durability. It is made of metal, but it's not like metal-plated, like armored. Are you going to punch it?
I want to punch it. But
I'll give you some time to think about it. Let's go back to the social card really quick. Ries, I think you've thrown a few games, maybe 4 or 5 so far, and you're feeling like maybe you're due for another win.
Okay. Reese is gonna, like, as opportunities present themselves, like,
Yes.
if he's not already sitting next to the chief, like, if people get up, just kind of, like, meander over and just, like, make some small talk and just kind of pay attention to what he's up to.
Sure. So he's not a nice-looking person. He's got that kind of mustache that only an asshole has. It's like you don't want to judge a book by his cover, but everything that he's said and done so far suggests that this is not a man that lives a nice life. And he can see very clearly that, like, you're trying to be his friend here, and he's like, if you were really my friend, you'd give me a chance to win that money back.
Absolutely. Let's do some more.
Fine.
And he'll wait a man, like, wave to maybe a waiter or something, and buy this man a drink, please.
Top shelf. The bartender next to you, I think, starts putting a drink together for him. Sort of rolls his eyes as he catches your glance.
Yeah, roll eyes with the bartender in agreement. How far down is asshole in terms of losing money?
I mean, he's got enough to play for maybe another half an hour or so, but...
Okay, he's not betting, like, his important money.
He's not playing stupidly. He's just losing a lot.
He's losing the money he can lose. He's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
putting himself out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a chance for me to slip something into the drink that the bartender's preparing?
If you can get your hands on it, sure.
How far back is the bar? Like, how difficult?
I think you're sitting at the bar, perhaps, and you're there's not a whole lot of people. I think you've probably, like, ingratiated yourself with the bartender a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so, in between, like, keeping an eye on things, you've just been making, like, idle chat. Just sort of, commenting on the goings on.
Yeah,
aren't trains fun?
And this is a snootier, like, train a lot of the time. And so usually those people are, like, mean to service people. And so when you're a little bit nice and you're the only one who's a little bit nice,
oh, absolutely,
they start to like you.
Yeah.
So we share a moment over rolled eyes, and then he puts something down, he pours a little bit, and then he turns for the top shelf.
You give me a sleight of hand check.
Talk over the drink.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's going to be a... Sleight of hand is 17.
You could put whatever you want in there.
I'm going to put something in
Just
there.
put your whole face into it.
So the wonderful thing about things that make you sleepy is when you mix them with alcohol, both work better.
Oh, sweet.
And so
I
she's
should do
putting
that.
a mild sedative in there that
Okay.
with the alcohol he's drinking, he's going to just, start to feel a little bit more loose, just kind of,
Okay. Sounds good. The bartender
much more gambling, too.
drops in the good stuff and scoops them up and takes them over to the table. Ries drops them off, adds them to your tab. How are you playing this hand?
He's gonna play to win.
Okay. I think you've managed kind of a mediocre draw right now.
Okay. He'll be risky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna mix things up at all? That's fair.
He's not gonna cheat. He's
Okay.
gonna play it straightforward.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He's
Well,
also pretty good at poker, just in general. So.
we'll see. We'll see.
Four aces!
And Eberron,
I meant cards.
it's Poker Jack in
Poker
Eberron.
Jack. That's what I meant. I was just for short.
Well, as luck would have it, you bust on this hand, and the security chief sort of finally rakes in his winnings and takes a big self-congratulatory gulp, puts in his ante for the next one.
You played a good one there, and pat him on the back.
Don't touch me.
Right. All right. Cool. All right. Good luck on the next.
He moves down a chair. You and Lynn can both give me perception checks.
Like, let's see.
Nat 20.
2.
I'm very aware.
You're very aware, absolutely.
You drank the wrong drink.
You note a figure moving through the car that is only really notable for the fact that they are heavily cloaked. Most of the people here aren't in their traveling clothes anymore. You know, they're in the nice car, having a good time. They're in, pretty relaxed kind of clothing. Most of them look pretty nice. This person looks like they are like riding through the night to try and get somewhere. They are heavily cloaked, hood up, moving through the car, trying their best to not draw any attention and just sort of continue on their way.
Hood up or down?
Up.
So they're
Face exposed?
no.
Oh, the hood is deployed.
Yes.
The hood is being
That's
used.
hood down.
Is it?
I think
No,
so.
that's hood up.
No, that's hood up.
Is it?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is up.
Up.
No, it's up.
No,
It's no, it's definitely up.
Okay.
I used to play on Muds. I promise you it's hood up.
Sorry.
So Lynn's gonna like look over, like ask the guy, so look at the bartender. What's that guy's story?
All sorts riding on the rails these days.
I guess.
Not everyone, likes to do it in style. A lot of places are just going from A to B. Back in the luggage car, I've given you ample time to decide on a course of action that may or may not be punching.
I got a question. Is it traveling between the cars in any way, or is this one just on patrol in this car?
So by this point, I think it's gotten to the back, and it sort of lowers down as it gets to the back, and it looks through the window back at the caboose to sort of see what that deal is. It seems like it's sort of looking between the cars to try and like get a view inside the caboose, and then it actually turns around and continues patrolling back the way that it came.
Yeah, I think I'll see if it's staying in this car
Mm-hmm.
or if it's actually going to go to the next car.
Okay.
Essentially, will anyone miss it? 'Cause I really want to punch it, but I also realize that punching it could very much blow our,
Sure.
everything we're working.
I think once it arrives at that back door once again, it sort of lowers down to the sigil that opens the thing. There's a small blue flash, and the door slides open, and the thing flies into the space between the cars.
I really wanted to punch it.
I did.
Well, if we're gonna move, it's probably better to follow that thing than have it following us.
Agreed. Let's go.
Ark, in your car, the door slides open, and the hooded figure that I was talking about before.
Ark's kind of been
begins
taking
moving
note
through.
of the guards and how they go. And walk
Sure.
about and-
So there have been a couple of guards moving through, and one is moving through now. And, the guards aren't like heavyweights necessarily, but they are guards. I guess they're a little bit more like ushers.
Right.
They're a little bit more just keeping the peace,
Just
making sure the
knowing
kids
their
are...
patrol schedule and how regularly they come. through.
Sure. So one of them is moving up through, and his job is more about like making sure that kids aren't running around or that kind of thing. People aren't screaming in the sleeper cars, that sort of thing, as people are wont to do. And
Night terrors.
yeah. Oh boy.
Poltergeists are real. We confirm that.
He is moving up through the car, and he's very clearly moving in such a way that he expects this hooded figure to move out of the way, and the hooded figure does not. But the hooded figure has like 1.5 feet on him, so
Do they kind of?
I think there's if the hooded figure takes any note of the guard whatsoever, it's not registered, because the guard sort of does this thing where like he expects them both to move out of the way, but only he does, so he has to like at the very last minute just sort of like
Oh.
sorry.
Huh. That is definitely.
He sort of glares at the little girls he's moving through just to like get a
there
little
any-
bit of it out.
Any chance I can catch a look at the hooded figure's face?
Sure, give me an investigation check.
Which die do I trust? None of them. I was right. Where is that? That is a 10.
10.
Yeah.
No, you do not.
Okay, I think so.
Although, as he's moving past, he seems awfully heavy.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
A little bit, yeah. I think back up in the gaming car, the security chief's starting to win a little bit more. But he's also getting a little bit sloppier. He's getting, he's throwing out some bigger bets. He seems to be on a roll, so to speak, or at least he thinks that he's on a roll. He's getting a lot more. He's doing a lot more like gross chortling about his wins. I knew I was gonna get you eventually. I knew I was gonna get you, stupid kid. Come on. Let's do another.
Very well. I think Ries is gonna try and get him to push all in, and then
Bust him.
bust him.
Bust him makes you feel.
Yes.
I love to bust is the thing.
Oh dear.
Okay, so how are you gonna try and get him to go all in?
Just make him do my best to.
What?
pretend
So
like I have a bad hand.
let's. What if I suggest this?
Okay.
What if this was an opportunity to use one of those new mechanics that we were talking about?
Ooh.
Hey, what's up? I'm Foxhound. We're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're also using some new stuff. What if we did a flashback of some kind?
Okay.
Where you knew that you were getting on a train with a security chief.
Okay.
And so maybe you did some recon to sort of figure out what his buttons might be. What sort of things might put him on tilt. What sort of things you might be able to learn to goad him. That kind of thing.
Be young half-elf stealing his money.
I mean, that's a good start. That's a good start.
Okay.
But that happens all the time. So I'm thinking maybe you go. Obviously he likes playing cards himself.
Sure.
So maybe doing a little bit of reconnaissance in the gaming houses in Sharn before the train left.
To ask around about him.
To see what buttons he's got to push.
Okay.
Why don't you give me some kind of a social check just for patrolling around? So this is a new thing where you can spend a new currency that we have called stress to do a flashback, which gives you some sort of an advantage on the scene in progress that you would reasonably have been able to have.
Maybe like deception to kind of like fake my way into knowing him and like trying to find out some information about him.
Yeah, okay.
Beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
8 total?
8 total.
Oh man. Okay, so here's the thing. I think that you're going to learn some information, but you're not necessarily clear on like how impactful it is.
Okay.
It's like most people didn't seem to want to have a whole lot of time talking to him. Most people that were like, nope, I'm sorry, I don't want to have anything to do with him.
Okay. He's
not even allowed in here anymore. It's a problem. And after like all day of like trying to scrounge something, you finally found one person that was like, yeah, I hear he used to be married to a dwarf, and he's not anymore. And that's really all I know. I'm not sure what happened or how it shook out or whatever. But apparently, that's about all I know. So that's literally what you've got.
Okay.
And you don't know necessarily like how big a trigger that's going to be or not.
okay. All right. Well, I guess in between hands or something.
Yeah, like he's like calling to the dealer to like shuffle something up.
Yeah, he'll like take a closer look at his face and be like, "You remind me of a friend of mine. It's an old dwarf fellow named Tarbuck. You know the guy? No? Yeah? No? You get? I guess you don't know him. Oh, you need another one of those?
What'd you say to me?
When? Just now? Or earlier?
Shut up and play.
Hi.
He's like, there are tears forming at the corners of his eyes. He's like trembling in front of you.
No.
Suddenly, I feel
Hit me.
sympathy for this terrible
Hit me.
man.
Hit me! Sir, that's 31. Hit me! I think you've had enough, sir.
And the dealer's just like,
The dealer very quietly pushes all of his chips your way.
I'll stay.
Oh man.
You want another drink or?
He punches you in the face.
Well, not beautiful
See those
anymore.
combat stats.
He might kill me.
Your AC is 12.
12.
You take 1 point of damage.
Okay, I did.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming to my house.
New character!
Thanks for the headsets.
No, it's roguelike. He's dead.
Well, we can call Ryan.
Right, he's in the car.
Lynn, what are you doing?
Oh.
Your friend got punched.
Yeah, but,
But I
she
mean,
doesn't
it's
really
kinda
want to
funny.
call attention to us knowing each other.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
fair.
more like there was a disturbance in the car, so she's like, and sort of looking at how everyone else is sort of feeling out the situation. Like, are a whole bunch of guards running over there?
There's
Or-
actually not any guards in the car right now.
And the next thing is, are the staff looking like they're about to get involved? The trained staff of there's waiters and waitresses sort of walking up and down. Is one of them looking like they're about to separate the two?
I think
or-
most of them are really wishing there was a guard right here, and everyone is sort of waiting for someone else to take the initiative.
Len is gonna step up and. Oh goodness, are you all right? What's going on?
I don't know. This guy I think he's had a little bit too much to drink, maybe. But he just lost some money, so I can understand. And
That was my husband, you asshole! And then he swings wildly and critically hit Lynn in the face.
Oh no! Amazing.
You take 2 points of damage.
Okay,
And someone punched you.
that's
wow.
That's too much.
Meanwhile, in the freight cars, so I think you guys have been following this weird dragonfly up a couple of cars, and it seems to have just repeated the same routine that it's done. It's sort of scanning the luggage back and forth, trying to see something, and not finding whatever it is, continuing on to the
We
car in
haven't
front of it.
encountered any of the guards, because there's supposed to be a guard in the cargo section as the other key, right? Or that's
Yes.
that's what our intel
Have we
indicated.
seen the high security car yet?
No, not yet.
And how many cars up are we at this point?
You are 4 cars up, so there's at least
Four
another
left.
4.
There's
Yeah.
4 left.
All right. Can we just are there windows? Can we observe further down the train?
So you can basically, once you make it to the window at that
Okay.
location, you can see into the next train over. Most of these freight cars only have low light.
Yeah. Well, I do have dark vision up to 60 feet,
Oh, well, spectacular.
which I guess is a train. In a train, hey, that's finally useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Way to go. You did it. You can see, once you get up to, so if you're in the 5th car, you move into the 4th car. The next car ahead of you seems to be more heavily secured than the others.
I'll try and point that out.
So, a question about these sigils that seem to open the doors.
Yes.
Do they seem like something that could be interfered with by someone who knows something about traps, locks, and that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I wonder how the thing would react if it were trapped in a back car, not able to do its patrol anymore, but wasn't quite clear on why it was trapped.
That seems like a more tactful solution than punching it. So I'm kind of so-so on that.
I think the thing is probably, once it reaches that door, it doesn't go up into the more secured area. It actually turns and begins its patrol back towards the rest of them.
Whoop!
Yeah, everyone's.
Everyone give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
Pretend to be a chair.
Natural 20.
That's a natural
11.
1.
Oh no.
That's unstressable.
That's correct.
Uh-oh.
What did you get?
11.
X? Okay.
I try and get inside of a box, and the box is full of crabs.
That is indeed what you do. It's very cold, and the crabs are very, very slow moving, but they are not eager to share your space.
They're pinchy.
And you weren't prepared for the cold or the crabs, and so in your frustration, you just sort of skitter to the floor and land on your rump, and the sound of it is enough to make the turn and shine its light upon you.
Can I shoot it?
You can do whatever you want.
With a natural 20, would I have had enough time to see this happen and try to take a shot at it before it finishes turning?
Well, Jeff just asked,
Oh, yeah, that's
so
fair. That's very
let's let him
Yeah.
play the game.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, I assume Ikasa's probably still out in the open because she didn't do great either. So she'll like take a step and see him fall, and she'll just about face and try to shoot the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me an attack roll.
A 180 no scope.
Natural 20.
Oh my god.
What the hell? Travis. So the light actually is beginning to like shift from white to red when just a bolt just like explodes out of its face. And the entire thing sort of short circuits and then like spirals into the now open coffin full of ice and crabs. Well,
The crabs immediately.
well, they are already very slow, and I think that there's enough melted ice that this sort of zaps a few of them, and you smell like an upsettingly delicious aroma of shellfish. Like, a little bit burnt, but
My
Ix will just
apologies.
like hold her crossbow steady for a second, and then she's like,
Where did the bolt go?
I'm sorry.
Where's the bolt that was shot?
It's literally like wedged in the thing's head.
No, okay.
Yeah, like it just traveled like up through the dragonfly.
So it's in the crab tank with it. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not a tank. It's like a ice box.
Oh,
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah, no one's shipping their aquarium.
Yeah.
That'd be really.
Fair.
Are you gonna retrieve it or
Why don't we put it in the
is he
ice?
Okay.
what? I mean, he's
No.
fine. He just fell on the ground.
Oh, okay.
He didn't get shot with a bolt.
I'm not injured, but I'm not really okay about.
Well, he hasn't punched anything.
Ix will sort of like stagger over, and she'll like you said this thing's it's like a forearm size.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
huge, so she'll just like pick it up by the bolt and be like, should we just toss this?
What's that? And she'll take the bolt out. Is there like luggage and stuff in here too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there like a small amount that looks like it could conceivably be undone, so it looked like it fell on the thing while it was
Yeah, totally.
there? All right, Medevra will set that up. I guess using trap skill in reverse to make it look like something.
Sure. I mean, it's a moving vehicle,
Yeah.
so
All right. Well, she will try to look like it got crushed, and it's a 13.
yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
Objects within the compartments may have moved while you were traveling.
And they just happen to fall in the drone. That was in
And
there.
I will frustratedly try to put the crabs back into the icebox and close it.
Shaking them up.
She hands the bolt back.
Excellent. Cool.
Someone's getting some crispy crabs.
It's not prepared for coastal living.
Sure. Lynn, you've just been punched in the face.
Oh my god, my nose! And I stagger back, out of combat range if possible. Like, is he took a wild swing at hitting
Yes.
me. Was he attacking me? Or did he miss Lobos and hit me?
I think he was just attacking.
Like anything around him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's like, oh god, my nose!
The bartender, I think, is like stepping up and like putting his body in between you and your attacker.
So
Hands up.
here's a question.
Uh-huh.
Is he... It does so with advantage if you and your companions are fighting it. Are we fighting it?
No.
He's okay. I'm gonna charm person on him,
Okay.
and I'm not hiding it at all.
Okay, that's fair. What does this look like?
Just
What does it look like when Lynn does this?
so Lynn is like she staggers back and she's bleeding and she's like, oh goodness, oh, and she casts the spell and like you must calm down, sir, and just everything's all right. It's okay. As she casts charm person on him.
I get a wisdom save, is that correct?
Yes.
I bet he's good at those.
Something.
Wise chief.
What's it? 8 plus.
DC proficiency 10. What's your stat bonus?
3 for stat
Then
bonus.
it's DC 13.
Okay. Proficiency makes it 10. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so 13.
Okay. He stops swinging wildly and instead just starts weeping as he's down on all fours. Just like, I'm sorry.
It's okay, sir. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm going to turn to Benny, the bartender, and say, look, I think we really just need to get him back to his room. I'll take him. Don't worry about it.
Are you sure that's safe?
He's fine now. He's fine.
Reese, in the meanwhile, would like to bend down and like check on him, see if he can spot this key that was.
Absolutely. His key ring is just on his belt loop. It's pretty obvious where it is.
He's gonna try and take it.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
What is the situation? Is it just like just a straight up ring attached? To
So
him?
he's actually got like 3 or 4 on there. So you think that maybe if you take the one, it's not necessarily going to be missed.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Still roll a 1 and you can stress
I'll
it.
try. Let's see.
That's not
That was
a
nice.
Yeah.
Sorry?
19.
19. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, that was
He was
like,
stealing
you
your
have
keys.
What else do I
literally
have
one
to do
job.
right now?
Polo can be distracting.
Yeah, I think maybe you're just like helping him up as Lynn is taking, and she's like such a sight that no one's paying attention to you, and you just sort of slide it into your robes.
Okay.
Can Lynn have noticed this? That like he's,
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because literally her plan was to get him alone and then just take the entire key ring and tell him, just sit here immediately. So,
Yeah. I think the chief is just like,
Yeah, he's
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're gonna be okay.
I fucked up so bad.
Oh.
So many times.
It's gonna be okay.
Let me tell you all about it.
That's just fine.
Reese is
So we're
walking
gonna talk
to another
about
car.
so many things. Where's your room?
It's this way.
So she's gonna guide him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Then he gets a flashback.
Yeah, the rest of the session is just going to be about him and his failed relationships.
That's a little.
Lynn comes in, nose bloody, apparently supporting a crying man.
Ark for a moment is about to. That he's like. Yes, because I need to cough because I'm a fleshling.
Are you disguised as like a skin bag right now?
You
Or
literally just put like skin.
no wonder the little girl is so terrified of you.
No.
I love being human. I have skin.
Humans
And
are great.
organs.
I love humans. They
Sure.
are the best.
So as you reach the other end of that car that you're moving through, you stop suddenly because in the space between the cars is one of the guards. They appear to have been knocked out.
Oh my. I'm going
This
to.
isn't supposed to be here.
Do I notice this?
No, they're back behind you.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell that they're like stopped suddenly for some reason, but you don't see the body.
Okay.
So, who was in the car that we were just in? A little girl, a robot who's my friend.
Yes.
And who else?
There's a couple of old people up front that are both asleep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sleeping people. Is the kid asleep yet, or are kids still just staring at a robot?
The kid is well. Now that you've walked in, I think they're paying attention to you. There's two kids and their mom.
Oh.
Their mom seems to be like sort of asleep, but not really.
Okay.
She's probably pretending to be asleep. You know how moms are.
Oh,
I actually
moms.
don't.
Well, sometimes they pretend to be asleep.
Okay. I am going to. Message is a wonderful cantrip. I need to remember how that works. I think that's the 15 words one.
Yep. 120 feet, has trouble with solid surfaces, but it can go around like cracks and doors and stuff.
Of the people I've met who are in the back unit.
Yes.
We met before.
Yeah,
so we'll talk a
all
little
6
bit.
of you, I think, got the roundup on how this is going to work.
Introductions and all.
So we also know that the only other key should be in a car before mine, so going this way, none of us are doing any of this. This is like way beyond our zone.
Say that over again, I'm sorry.
I know that all of them are behind me in the train.
Right.
And I'm going towards the front of the train.
No, you're
So-
actually moving towards the back
I'm
now.
moving towards the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're sort of in the middle of the train now. So, like, the nice cars are all the way up front, like the spa and the gaming room and stuff like that. Then the seats and the sleepers, and then the freight.
Okay.
It's like, you know, first class up front.
All right, perfect. I'm going to send a message to...
The only catch is while it does go through doors and stuff, I think you have to know where you are accurately enough to like be able to point at us.
Oh, you point toward a
How does
creature
that work
within
on a train?
range and whisper a message. So I can't see you guys. Oh, you can cast a spell through solid objects if you are familiar with the target and know
Okay.
it is beyond the barrier.
Yeah,
No.
that's reasonable.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to...
So, I'll just give this one caveat. Describe for me one of the 3 other characters that you're sending this to.
I do know the very druggy X with the cuts and stuff.
Yeah,
and
okay,
then she,
okay.
like, up beneath the scalp line.
Just making sure.
She made an impression.
Of
Yeah.
all the ones, I'd be like, yeah, she's the one to handle this message.
No, you're just the most
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm like, what are the other 2 like?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I was going to roll to see who I sent it to, but that's who I'm sending it to.
Yeah.
So it is I can
Bless her.
There's not actually a limit on words for this. I'm just gonna
Oh, yes, they're
not on message.
Really?
You point your finger and whisper a message. The target and only the target hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. You can cast it through solid objects if you know they're beyond the barrier.
Why did I think those are all limits? Oh well.
I think that's sending.
Yeah, sending has a much. The other ones have a much greater range, but limited effect.
Good deal. All right, so
So
you're sending
I'm-
a message to X.
Yes. Somebody just knocked out a guard up here between the carts. I don't think it was you guys. I think there's another person on a mission here. Heads up.
And I can respond.
Apparently.
Yeah. And she'll
Itoria?
she'll hold up a hand and pause and be like, no, we haven't physically dealt with any guards. If someone's been knocked out, it wasn't our doing. And she'll look at these two and be like, somebody's knocked out one of the guards near the front. It's like, we have somebody else working on this train.
We need to step up the timetable.
Start punching now.
She kind of nods her head towards the door to the high security car.
Mm-hmm.
Nick's like, shouldn't we maybe go over that?
Hmm?
Don't we maybe want to go over that instead of through it?
Maybe. Endeavor will kind of go quiet and take a look at the door, see if she can notice any traps on it or anything unusual about
Sure.
how it works based on the other doors we've seen so far.
Totally.
That is a natural one.
No problems here.
Just
See?
dive
Mind
into
your
the train.
microphone, Herbie.
Oh, thanks. Sorry.
Yep.
Anyway,
It is a very train.
it looks fine, but over.
What are you guys doing?
I love how badly this is gonna go.
The train explodes.
Ix is at least gonna see if
New
she
adventure.
can climb up and get a look over the top.
Okay, so you're going to leave the train car you're in, go to the space between them,
Yeah.
and then leave up.
Yeah, and just
Do
at
we
least
see-
climb up to see across the top of the train.
Okay.
Do we see people in the car?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. It only looked higher security in that. It looked like,
So it looks like there's a vault or something like that inside that room. It
Okay.
looks like there's a hallway that wraps around it, like the way that they
Yes.
do around sleeping compartments.
Okay. And
But
then
this one looks like it's like an iron
In
cell.
that case, I actually totally agree that if there's going to be any place that's going to have alarm spells, then yeah, it'd be better for us to go up and over it because just stuff. Hitting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, there's a trapdoor leading out of the interstitial space. Maddie, are you following along?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all three of you. So here's another opportunity. Actually, maybe you guys are good enough at this.
We're probably all good at this.
You're probably all good at this. But here's another. Well, yeah. Okay, we'll save that. Okay, give me a. You can use athletics or acrobatics as you like. It's dark out, but there's sort of enough light to see by virtue of the fact that the lightning elemental at the very front is sort of glowing blue and white sparks that fly off. Did you roll another 20?
No.
Oh, that's a 1.
Wait, it was 1, 1, and 1. Huh.
Why?
Wait,
1, 1, and then 1.
all three of them rolled a 1?
Not to say that-
Oh, Bill, come
I meant
on!
over time. Like, he did a 1, then he did a
One's
1.
Okay.
It's not a one.
Yeah. Basically, everyone on our team has had a 1 tonight.
Yes.
14.
I have a total of 21.
This
Okay.
sounds like a fantastic time to have used the thing you were talking
It
about.
would have been great. Yeah,
Was it too
absolutely.
late?
Okay, so I think bodyguard probably takes the lead. So you squirm up and you begin creeping along the front as the wind batters you in the face, and the ninja climbs up after, and you have maybe a little bit easier of a time. You're sort of catching the drift off of the free blade up ahead of you. And then Ix climbs up, and she's just like, "Oh, time for a nap."
Yeah.
And so I think you make it up to the top, but there's just like a gust of wind that just like catches you completely off balance, and you just tumble backwards. Either you can try and catch yourself, or someone else can try and do something to grab you.
I can. Would it be? I'm guessing it's probably going to be athletics, not acrobatics, to grab.
It depends on what you want to do.
Oh, well, I'd rather use acrobatics if I can figure out a way.
Just tell me what it. Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Don't think about it in terms of skills. Tell
Yeah,
me
in terms of
what it is that you're
actions.
actually doing.
Carlos.
He's really good at cartwheels.
Yeah.
That is true, but I'm not sure how cartwheels would prevent someone from falling.
You cartwheel very quickly over there.
So he's not falling down necessarily, he's just
Okay.
flying back.
Tumbling backwards.
Falling backwards.
On the top.
In that case, I might actually use acrobatics to essentially do essentially a controlled fall back to basically
Okay.
let myself get blown back with enough air control to basically grab.
Okay,
on
sounds good.
It was solved with cartwheels, I told you.
That's a 9 on the die, which gives me 14 total. If that's not successful, I would definitely be willing to stress this.
So this is another mechanic that you can use. If the thing is not going to be a success, and I can actually just tell you that no, that's not going to do it, you can still spend the stress now. You can spend 2 stress to turn a non-critical failure into a success. So what does this look like? Yes, excuse me?
I was gonna ask, can you do a flashback to like 1 minute ago?
No.
Okay.
No, that
Someone was
would.
gonna ask.
I think it's pre-mission stuff.
Yeah,
fair enough.
it's stuff that you could have learned
Yes.
ahead of time during the before the mission.
Then
not
you have a
during the mission.
flashback. Like, this is
Yeah.
already a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, so if we flashback to within the flashback.
Don't die during this mission is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Brandon, you
Okay.
almost failed, but then you succeeded. Tell me what that looks like.
All right, let's figure this one out.
First of all, I think you do a sweet backflip.
Yeah, and essentially
Then it turns out that was a bad idea.
yeah,
Too good of a bet.
let the wind carry me, but maybe essentially go too far even for what I was expecting to go.
It was too sweet.
Yeah,
It was
and
too
let's-
sweet.
Let's see if there's anything, and maybe essentially I have to like pull out like my sword and I straight stab it into the roof of
Yeah,
the train.
excellent.
And in order to grind to a halt, probably making more noise than I intended into the super secure.
Certainly more
car.
sparks.
Yeah, in order to reach back and then grab and then stop us both.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've both not fallen off the train, and that was totally awesome. So I think that's fine.
Yeah. In contrast to your cool ninja shit, it's just like death grips on your hand. Like, she is not frosty about whatever is going on here. There is no ninja shit on her end at all.
Oh, good. Ries, you're still up in the gaming car, and you've acquired a key.
Yeah, he's pretty happy with himself.
I gambled that
it's-
way.
Yeah.
I put this key
Time for a drink. I'll gamble this. Absolutely. What's this worth?
He just takes a trip maybe to a corner that's empty or just like a bathroom or something like that, and kind of pulls out the key and looks at it and yeah.
Yep, it's got a little House Orion logo on it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Then he'll put it away and then
It says 1 of 2.
walk out all proud and then be like, "Oh yeah, we gotta use this somewhere," and then start just casually making his way towards.
Lynn isn't here anymore.
Yeah, he notices that.
Yep.
So he's gonna keep mingling about, but then heading back towards more the further back cars,
Sure.
and until he comes across either the freight part of the train or.
Well, I think before that you're gonna
Yeah.
bump into Lynn and the Chief and Ark.
So after Lynn sends the message down the train, she's going to send messages again to Ark and
the boy spelling of Ries.
the boy spelling of Ries, not the girl spelling of Ries.
Yep.
All right.
Got it from me. Basically telling them the same thing, and we should start moving down the train.
Okay.
But
Is there a reason you're not just telling Ark?
the car's full of people, and this is only heard by him.
Okay.
And then she's going to have the sobbing guard and tell him, "No, calm down, it's all okay. Here, let's get this guy into your room too, and you guys can watch after each other, and all be cool in there." So she's going to try and basically get the conductor, the sobbing security chief
Ark's
into his
message
room.
back to you will be like, all right, if no one else is seeing, shut the door so
Yeah.
no one else sees. Ark will be like,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
sorry.
No, please.
And then Ark's gonna kind of stand up and like, oh, excuse me, miss. It looks like that fellow is having some trouble. I'll go and help. And then he'll talking to no one really, but he'll get up and kind of open the door and shut it and kind of help lift this new guard that's not.
Sure.
well.
So you're in a sleeper compartment. You've got a sobbing man and an unconscious man.
Yeah.
And Ries is presumably headed your way.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and
You
just
did it, pretty
take.
boy.
Yeah, you hold the unconscious guard. Don't worry. What's
You
the
receive an unconscious guard.
what is the asshole's name?
1 of 2.
Spencer.
Spencer. Oh,
Yes.
that's a great asshole name.
I
Spencer.
I apologize
okay.
to any Spencers out there, unless you're an asshole.
What-
In which case, get it together.
Yeah, Bless you, Spencer. Come on, let's.
I'm sorry that your wife is your arm now.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, so I'm gonna lead Spencer towards his room and use him as cover as I'm like moving down the carts and everything.
Sure.
And also looking and scouting while you hang back with an unconscious guard and you meet up with Ark. So
Okay.
I'm gonna basically take lead and then signal you guys to follow as carts are clear.
Sure.
Ark might say, like in passing, one of the times, like maybe we could say they had a fight with each other. They went to fisticuffs, and maybe some reason the gods had a disagreement. That's why this one's knocked out, and this one is.
I'm okay with that, but I'm
Well,
really
just in case something happens, we don't have to
Right.
preempt it or anything like that.
yeah. I'm beginning to think we're not going to get to talk to very many more people.
Hopefully not.
So, but having you wait in between cars, so you're not just carrying a guard in case like the next car has a whole bunch of people. I'll tell you when to.
Agreed.
So wait, are you bringing him with him, or are you bringing him? Or are you leaving him in the sleeper car?
Let's leave him in the sleeping car. Screw it. Yeah. Well, no.
You remove an unconscious guard from your inventory.
Put him leaning sort of like into a chair, just like he
Right.
slumped over, I guess. And then, yeah, I don't want klaxons going off, but if you can shove him there and it's
I'll just
not
I'll droop
conspicuous.
his head and close his eyes. Put the little Z's above him.
Okay, yeah, I just draw some C's on the window. And
On his face.
Yeah, on his
Yeah,
face.
like you do.
The big sleep.
This is what skin people do.
I would know.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, the three of you have, perilously, slowly made your way up past the high security car. There's one more just regular freight car in front of you before the passenger cars begin.
It's like, well, our mark's got to be there, huh?
Yep. So there's not a way down directly into this high security car. We have to go on the other side of it, basically.
Right, so each of these interstitials have a trap door that you can go in or out of.
Trapdoors.
Maddie will check the trapdoor on our side for traps.
traps.
For traps? Oh!
It's trapped.
It is a trap
That is
door.
not great. That's an 8.
A trapdoor doesn't seem to be trapped.
Right, does it have hinges?
Yes.
She
Does
will-
it have a poltergeist?
It doesn't have a
That's
poltergeist.
an improvement.
Yeah.
She will quickly oil the hinges real quick just to make sure nothing goes wrong on that score.
Okay, give me a.
Oil check.
I mean,
Wind
you're
blocking
doing.
check?
Yeah, like you're literally doing this in 50
Oh,
mile per hour.
Should I could go around and stand in front of it.
Oh, man.
If that's really what you want to go with it,
The
yeah.
oil is just like.
Oh wait, she could cover it. She could cover it with her hand. It's just a hinge, right?
I mean, there's wind whipping past you at 50 miles per hour.
Sorry, I've never been on top of a train before.
It's very
You should
fast.
try it.
You should try
Yeah.
it.
No,
It's great.
fair enough. If it looks like that's not feasible, then she won't be.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, just imagine like putting your hand out of your window driving down the highway.
Okay.
It's
That makes sense.
there's
Yeah.
not going to be a whole lot of like.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also probably pretty loud out here.
It's very
uh,
loud.
Yeah,
it's
they-
very
I'm-
low
I'm
chance.
I'm willing to allow that you're
Inside,
screaming to one another, but
Yeah. And inside, it's more what I was worried about. All right.
sure.
Well,
I don't think the oil's going to make a difference out here. It's already quite loud.
Anyway, she will attempt to open the trapdoor.
Okay.
Anything go wrong?
I mean, it's difficult to because of the
Yes.
wind, but otherwise, no, it just opens up.
It's super
Alright.
trapped.
Anything down there that shouldn't be?
Nope. Well, I mean, there's a more strongly locked door into the high security car and a normal looking door into the freight car in front of you.
And it doesn't look like the mysterious cloaked man has gotten to this high security door yet.
Not you've seen, no.
Okay.
Well, we'll go ahead and go down first because she is the bodyguard and also the person who might got to open this door.
Sure. So the freight car in front of you looks like the ones that you've seen up ahead, although there is a guard waiting inside of it with his back to you.
In the non-high security.
Yes, that's correct.
She kind of looks up, assuming that someone's already looking down.
Yep.
Kind of points there. She can't really say.
Ix will look at
Farran?
Farran.
Farran?
Farran, how do you say it?
Like, I should have looked up the pronunciation on behindthename.com.
We'll make a call.
Yeah, it's your character.
Yeah, we'll go with Farran.
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 She'll look at Farran.
Yeah.
Farran?
And
Farran?
Farran.
Farran.
she'll be like,
Farran Dev.
just one? She'll be like, I think you two can probably handle this. I'm going to cover the top. Something's not right here. We're going to bust this lock and there's going to be somebody waiting for us. We're doing the job for somebody else. She's like, I'm going to fall back. I'll take point up top in case anything happens. And she's gonna disengage and work her way back behind the high security car just to take.
Okay, so like in the middle of the thing, or like behind it, back from the cars. that you came from?
Behind the high security car.
I think I'm gonna need a.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just jump.
That's the last anyone ever saw of Ix.
No, X. Oh, thank God.
15.
15. You realize now that you need to take this a little bit more cautiously. You work your way down successfully.
Yeah, she's not in a hurry this time. So
Yeah.
She's just like really. She's got no ninja shit to prove.
No,
just, like,
absolutely
get on
not.
her belly and
Yeah.
crawl.
Okay.
Well, Endeavor,
Farran, you're dropping down.
Yeah.
Okay.
and Endeavor kind of points out what she's pointing out, and kind of looks at the door. She starts looking it over for any traps or interesting devices.
Okay.
Natural 1 again. Jesus Christ.
I was about to offer to also help perceive, but I don't know if shenanigans are about to go down.
Well, she's only looked for traps. She hasn't tried disarming or opening it yet.
You don't see any obvious differences between this door and the others.
So you add some traps to it and then protect it there.
Can I go ahead and perceive the door as well?
Yes.
Okay, perception. That's a 19.
This door doesn't appear to be trapped.
I'll kind of nod.
And she will look at the lock, get out the lock picks, and start giving it a shot. Is it a lock or like another sigil?
It's just another sigil.
Oh.
It's just exactly like the ones in the other freight cars.
You stick metal into the sigil.
Should have brought that dragonfly.
Well, we've been opening them somehow. behind
Yeah,
it.
you just put your hand up to it, and it just detects that there's a life form that wants the door to open.
All right. Well, there's nothing.
If the dragonfly was doing anything, it was masquerading as a living thing, which is
that's
evil.
going around a lot right now.
Yeah.
She kind of looks at the guard. She kind of looks at the guard behind and kind of nods and motions that she's definitely about to activate the sigil. So be ready for whatever might happen. And she puts her hand on it, just like all the other ones. It opened.
Did.
Is there anything immediately inside?
An angry guard.
There's just a guard. Hasn't seemed to have noticed you.
Oh, so he was on this side of the door. Oh,
No.
on this door.
Other side.
Other side
He's
of the door.
inside the
so-
car that you're going into.
Okay. I was confused. I thought he was in the other car. But it's all right.
You open the door.
He's in the freight car.
And you're behind the guard who's in the other car you're about to go into with the door you just opened.
Man, this is
I
your
mean-
Chance. Come on.
Yeah, I
I
guess
mean, X isn't
yeah.
there. I'm just saying. Out there, if you were gonna punch somebody this session,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and punch the guard to knock him out.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's.
So are you just sprinting in, or are you going to try and sneak up? He's
Oh.
like halfway down the
Oh, I'll
car. So
definitely try
like,
and sneak.
You don't
up.
get
Okay.
flying punches until first level.
give me those sneaks.
And Maddie's got her hand crossbow out, but is not making any noise or attacking. Yet.
That's a 2.
You can defend.
Stuck over a crate full of crabs.
Yeah. 2 is stressable.
Yeah. How much stress do we want to build up before things really get going?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All of
So
it.
I think you step in ready to ninja this shit, and just immediately crash into a stack of boxes.
And the crabs get
Inexplicably, a number of crabs and ice spill out. Apparently, it's a hot item this season, and they like slide across the floor, and the guard's like, "Crabs! Hey, what the?"
Do we
roll for
They
initiative.
topple onto it.
Oh God!
It sounded like Maddie had a prepared action.
She had her crossbow out when she notices the thing happens. She's got her crossbow
keeps
out. Pointing-
happening.
She's got some decisions to make. Does she shoot the guard or the crabs?
I'll save you, sir.
Yeah. Befriend the guard by killing the crabs. And maybe he'll give you the key.
Maddie, are you doing a
Oh
thing?
yes, she's going to try and
What's the
intimidate
strategy?
check.
Okay.
He looks steely-eyed at the guard, crossbow drawn on him. Do you really get paid enough to die for this? And makes an intimidate check. And it's a fairly reasonable 19.
He pees himself.
I think the crabs put him on edge.
She holds up a finger.
It's just like one of his Japanese animes.
She gets Farran's attention and tosses him a rope and a gag.
Yeah. I'll
Hands
go.
on
Catch
it.
these.
Roll the slip on a crab.
Tie himself up.
Oh, I fucked up.
Tie yourself to the railroad tracks.
She also indicates check for the key.
Yeah, I will go and do so.
Sure, he has a big, obvious keychain
Well,
sitting on his.
I'll get the big obvious key
Yeah.
for certain and proceed to tie him up.
Okay.
And I won't put him in the box with the crabs, but
Well, there's crabs everywhere now, so I think he's going to be with the crabs no matter what.
Or they eat people.
That's
Terrible way
not
to go.
canon.
He,
And not never.
he's with the crabs.
And she kind of gestures to go tell her that everything's cool. Or it seems to be so far.
Sure.
Oh, should I like just go all the way back up and over, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, Ix is hanging out at the behind the high security cabin because that's where we're gonna eventually go anyway. So she's just gonna watch the top. Once you guys reconvene, she can come down and we can come down to the high
Throw a
security.
shuriken at her to get her attention.
Alright, so we have one key, we're in the high security cabin. What else do we
Wait, you're what?
Whoa,
wait,
no.
whoa,
wait,
7
wait.
steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
We're in the regular
We're in the
freight.
We're in the
I'm
Yeah.
so confused about where
So
this train
there is a normal freight, high security,
Oh, okay,
normal
normal.
freight,
Okay, got it.
and you cross
Yeah,
over
we're
from
here.
one normal
Okay,
to
I
the
thought
other.
we were just getting into the high security one.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have drawn a map after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys,
It's,
if Rachel's the high security,
Oh yeah, I did.
You're
Use
a-
your little envelopes.
Yeah.
you guys are in this
yeah,
cart,
now I get it. We're one car before that.
and Ix is
Okay.
on top over
Okay.
here, so she can drop down to the intersection. If she
All
needs
right.
to.
I think the armor-wearing crew arrives at the first freight car.
So we just see you guys. Like,
Basically, yeah.
okay.
You walk in. There's crabs everywhere
Farran
for
flicks
some
a
reason.
crab off of his shoulder. Hey guys.
What's been going on back here? And we, by the way, dropped off the guard.
You didn't bring Weepy with you?
No, I did not
Weepy
bring
Spencer?
Weepy Spencer with us.
Okay.
We left him and some gifts in
Sure.
his room.
And some gifts?
Spencer's gifts.
Weepy would have been an excellent trap checker.
Give me a point of inspiration.
You?
Yeah. Give me something of yours that I can take away.
Pass the stone of blood.
You have a bottle.
I don't want garbage.
I
This isn't
used that.
this isn't
Garbage.
Fallout.
That will be currency in 100
the
years.
number of bottles
Recycling.
Rachel leaves over at my house. She left a bunch of plastic bags the other day and was
And
like,
you
"Oh
threw
yeah, I
them
need
away,
those."
You jerk.
They were garbage.
They were not. They were plastic bags.
Sorry, I forgot all my trash
Don't
here.
hoard.
I don't.
Anyway, you're in a room with some crabs. Ix is on the roof of a car and not flying off.
She's
Okay.
not
Good
present.
job.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
way to do it.
You're just perched up.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like her concern is that we're gathering these keys for somebody who's going to drop through one of those trapdoors and try to take the treasure, basically.
No,
Right,
you're
okay.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Cloaky Person come through here?
Who?
The,
The
There's
person who
a
knocked out
cloak-
the
Ix,
other
why
one?
don't you give me a perception check?
Natural
Oh
20.
my gosh! Yeah.
You see
So-
the
Which is
whole
crazy because she's wearing sunglasses.
Maybe that's protecting your eyes from the tremendous force of wind, but or maybe it's that the drugs have finally the combination of that and
my
almost
God.
flying off the train to your death.
Yeah.
Have just given you this laser focus, and sure enough, you can see this massive hooded figure clambering down the rooftops, sort of just running / hopping from roof to roof down towards where the high security thing is.
Ix is going to put a beat on this guy.
Sure.
Yeah. She has no way to communicate with the other team. So,
Even screaming would be ill-advised at this point.
yeah. So she's just going to try when he like you said he's like running, basically jumping between cars essentially. Or,
He's basically just like straight down, like towards you at this point.
I'm just going to try to shoot him in the leg.
Okay. Roll him up.
Okay.
Roll good.
Please get that nat 20 again.
What's our prof bonus for
2.
2? Okay.
2
Plus your...
level 1.
Not great.
Stress attack rolls?
9. Can you stress attack rolls?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I'll do that. 'Cause I would like to shoot this motherfucker.
Okay, so you put one in his shin, and more than any like obvious like damage, like whatever this guy is or whatever he's wearing, it seems to just like stick, and there's like a brief like flash of metal underneath, but it doesn't really seem to slow him so much as it just sort of surprises him a little bit. But he really quickly just catches his balance again. And as he's running, he seems to toss like this small ball towards you. Yeah, it's it's Jolteon, which is bad. You're weak to that. Yeah. No, he throws like this
effective.
little metal sphere that sort of uncurls and turns into one of those dragonflies, basically just unfolding itself and flutters towards you through the air. What's your AC?
My AC is 14.
Do you have dragonfly immunity?
I don't.
So
I'm high.
The wind isn't doing it any favors either. It just sort of like clacks its jaws together, and there's like a little spark, and it seems to like jolt towards you, but it's having a hard time getting a whole lot of focus.
Okay, so does it like buzz past me?
Basically, yeah. Like, actually, now that it's made its one attack, it doesn't seem to have quite the air strength to like make its way back towards you.
That's just fine. So does
Yeah.
it legitimately seem like it's not a threat at this point, or is it just going to take
It was barely a threat to begin with, to be quite honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Shoot him again.
Okay, it did not look like I did any damage to this guy, huh?
It's difficult to tell. Do you have dark vision?
I'm a half orc. I think I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Herbo.
I think so.
But it's at 60 feet. I assume this guy's further away than that. He's all the way down.
No, he's like around 60 or 50
Okay,
feet
he's
at this point.
getting pretty close
Yeah.
now.
You don't notice any like obvious like he doesn't have bill legs or anything. By that I mean like big
my God.
bruises.
Severe
Oh
damage.
my.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? You're the one that offered that up.
I'm gonna
Yes.
try to drop through the trap door on the opposite side of the high security thing. Fuck fighting this dude.
Cool.
He's gonna sprint down on me next turn. Thank you.
Do we hear like clomp, 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 clomp on the roof above us?
Not yet.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, you guys have collected 2 keys between the 2 of you, and a tremendous number of crabs. They'll be currency one
We
day.
need to use those. We can use those to disarm the traps in the next car. We're going to toss crabs into them.
You have enough that you could basically use them for the entire adventure.
I think that's my plan. So I'm just going to like start stuffing crabs in my bags and no.
Classy.
What are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and get this thing open.
Agreed. When we go to the high security car, do we see anything like
Right.
inauspicious about opening that door?
There's a much more intimidating looking sigil on the next to the door here.
Keys.
There's no keyhole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
The keys
a
are for the
box.
vault.
Yeah.
Could I do knowledge arcana?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now will also give it a look for traps in the lake.
19
Not doing any better than she's
plus.
done on any other check.
Where is arcana? 23.
23. This is a pretty run-of-the-mill lock, all things considered. You think you can basically just spend a moment with it and snap it open.
All right. I'll go ahead. I got this. And then go ahead and.
Crossing outlines,
Yeah.
snipping wires, and before too long, the glow on it fades out.
Can
and
I
the door.
make an Arcana check not to figure out what was actually going on, but to figure out what he's doing, just out of curiosity?
Sure, absolutely.
Even Maddie's paying attention. This is all in traps.
Sure.
Are actually kind of
No, whatever it is that he's doing it.
I'm like,
with,
this seems interesting. That's bad.
Like-
That's a 6.
Natural 20.
Magic!
so whatever it is that he's doing, he almost seems like he's going into like just laser focus mode where he's just an absolute harmony where he's moving both hands so independently of one another. It looks like he's incredibly practiced at this, and he's basically just taking the elements of magic and rerouting them around the sigil so that it's not broken, it's just going into loops where it wouldn't have otherwise gone and won't fire off anything negative.
Maddie looks pretty impressed, and as soon as she's sure that he's actually fully done, claps him back. Not bad.
Right. Let's go.
Cov's eye stalk, of course, responds to this and
He's a bit touchy. He
That's
is.
fine. Oh.
Sorry.
well, it's an eyeball. don't punch an eyeball, that'll hurt.
I don't.
The door is slid open, revealing the large room, which is basically just a hallway with another large room inside of it. There's no windows leading into it, but there is an impressive steel door that takes 2 keys.
So with this, is this simultaneous to
Yes.
me? So you said there are windows that you can see through if you're basically close up, right? They
Where?
saw between. So if I drop through that trap door looking into the higher security cart,
Yes.
we could see into that before.
Yes, you
right?
can.
I assume that with the well, actually, I don't know. Would they be able to hear me through the
I think it'd be
door?
pretty muffled, but
Okay.
obviously they'll see you drop down. I think you drop down basically simultaneous to like
Okay.
them approaching the door with the 2 keys.
So where's it? Oh, there's X.
Yeah, and so
Give me an acrobatics check.
okay. So I don't twist my fucking ankle. 15.
I just wanted her to like land face on the ground, and so it's like there's
She is
X.
she is alive
Okay.
and on 2 feet.
Um.
However, the door on your end is locked.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I needed to know about the window.
Right, but there is a window there, so they can see you.
She's gonna grab, just like rip a patch off of her pants and slam like a piece of red cloth onto the window.
Okay.
And I'm just assuming she knows that he is also a veteran, and just assuming that maybe like Red Banner was danger or something.
Yeah, 100%.
in the war.
Sure.
Does that?
She's gonna slam that down, and then I'm gonna go back through the door that I know opens, because fuck this dude. I don't want him falling
In
on top
times
of
of
me.
war, that means that there's some
He's
kind
in
of...
trouble.
It means an enemy's on the horizon, an enemy's on the way. There's something bad going down.
Okay, can you open that back door?
But so back behind you, there is a
Ah, fuck.
and the cloaked figure strides into the room slowly, and you can see that there's a rip where a bolt seems to have embedded itself right above the knee, but it doesn't seem to have stopped his days as an adventurer. This is an enormous warforged. He is 8 feet tall. He has one glowing blue eye. The other eye isn't missing, but it seems to have almost like some sort of a face mask that just obscures part of it as some sort of protection or something like that. And he has... he's clearly built for war, but he's built in such a way that you've not seen before. He's got a sword hanging at his side, but what's really impressive is his arm. His left arm has some sort of a weird coil built into it that has sparks running up and down the thing. He glowers at each of you and says, "Meat things. You're in my way."
About that.
Does it look like we can open the back door to this from this side?
It's not clear. You haven't made a close enough examination of it, I think.
I'm about to run in that general. Ah, giants!
You can do that after you roll initiative.
Should I be in this initiative order too?
Okay.
Dice.
That could be worse.
Do you add a proficiency to initiative?
No.
No.
Okay.
Just Dex
18.
bonus.
19.
Ark?
19. No bonus.
Maddie?
14.
Lynn?
18.
18. Ix?
19.
Ooh, who's faster?
I'm 100% sure that...
I bet it's me. I'm gonna have to hold action anyway. But.
Okay. Ries.
3.
It's not a good number.
There's an extra one.
You're gonna try and rip him off. I'm gonna talk to him.
Alright. I'm just gonna steal his keys and then go with
Farran.
15.
15. Okay, I might need to catch up on a little bit of this. But Ix, you're up first. What are you doing?
She was darting back into the other freight car. She's just basically going to move back away from everything and then hold position. So I'll just hold initiative until the door opens so she can take a shot.
Cool.
She's assuming that these fuckers are going to open that door.
Well, we'll see.
It's the way I'm escaping.
I don't blame you. I mean, Ix ran away too, and she's a combat character.
Yeah, seriously.
Ark. You did save them from their surprise round.
Right.
welcome.
We need to get together, so I'm gonna go and try and open the door. If I can, is it? Should I do a sleight of hand check, or what's the normal tool check for like opening a door or lock?
Well, this one is...
These ones just
On this side,
The-
does it open easy for Ark?
No, it's got the exact same lock mechanism. So you're gonna have to you have to spend your turn making another Arcana check.
okay. 18.
Okay, you managed to slide the thing open. Ix, does your turn go off?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that triggers my shot. Can I have a flashback?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Ix and Ark hung out before.
That's true.
And so
They have
and,
some history.
And actually, I'm kind of running with, like, if Warforged were a big deal in the war.
They were.
Ix is probably...
They're named
like,
after it.
She probably, like, treats him like he's a person, for example.
I think you're right.
So I'm just imagining them getting ready for this and them just sort of hanging out at some point, and she's like, hey, baby doll, we don't know what we're going to run into on this train, and I'm not too used to fighting all this Magitech stuff as opposed to just normal humans. And she'll drop a few crossbow bolts on his table and just be like, do you think you can maybe punch something up for me?
Yeah, I'm sure I could do that.
So I don't care if it's like ultra penetrating or explosive. I just want something that is
So-
going to fuck this boy up.
I think that's reasonable. It needs to be something that you make a check to do.
Okay.
So I think maybe what's going on here is that Ark says yes, he can do that,
You get to provide.
but you're going to need to be able to provide some sort of materials. So you're going to need to do some sort of scrounging. It's up to you to decide how it is that you're going to do that.
Yeah, let's say, can it be organic materials, like things from the wilds?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Ix is actually pretty good at survival.
Okay, yeah. So I think you head out into the wilds around Sharn.
Yeah,
looking
even
for
some like magical wood. I don't know what the fuck they have.
Well, spell components take all sorts.
Oh, I guess it's
Yeah.
magic. Okay.
Yeah.
Duh, I forgot magic exists in this world.
Yeah, everyone knows about
yeah.
it. There's libraries.
An 8 on survival.
Okay. I think that here's what I think. I think that you have a hard time looking for what it is that you're necessarily going for, so you're going to get sort of a reduced effect on whatever it is that you've got.
That's fine. I'll blame that on Ark.
Yeah.
No.
Same.
All right, so as she's sort of backing up, she'll pat down to like a smaller quiver down her hip and pull out one of these magic arrows and take a shot.
Cool.
Don't fucking miss. I'll stress that, dude. I take 2 stress for flashbacks. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, it depends. It depends on the challenge of what it is that you're doing.
14.
You did.
Oh, he put mine on.
Did I get an order incorrect?
Oh yeah, I'm 18. Not
You're 18. Excuse me. Sorry, I'll fix that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just.
No, you're good. So
I was like, wow, my 18 did really bad.
I think based on the challenge of what it is that you were doing, that's only a 1 stress one.
Okay.
But if you were doing something where someone was actively opposing what it is that you're trying to do, like you're convincing someone
Right.
to do something, Ark is presumably already
I mean, that's what
inclined to help.
Oh, I
do that
hate
anyway.
this person.
Yeah. Natural 1!
Why?
Okay.
You shoot Ark.
That's a critical miss.
That's a critical miss.
Give me a d20 roll.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me tally up my stress real quick. So I can keep track of that.
What do you want to say this was?
17 for my critical miss roll.
17.
Yep.
That's weapon dropped.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, fucking hands are shaking.
Okay, so
yeah.
here's what I think. I think you load up one of these things, and you had them made, but you hadn't like had the opportunity to do so. So what you've got is you've got some unstable ammo, and like you basically pull the trigger, and it like pops.
Yeah.
And that's just like there's a lot going on tonight, and so you just drop it.
Yeah.
You can snap it up, but that's good
yeah,
for the rest.
she'll just
Yeah.
drop down and grab the...
Cool. It's like smoldering a little bit, but it seems perfectly usable. Lynn, you're next,
Ark.
right?
Ark is next.
No, Ark took his turn to open the door. Yeah.
And hit the held action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to hold until, shit. I don't really have good fighting stuff.
You can talk him out of the
Neither
fight.
do I.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna draw my short sword and be stepped back a little bit, and if this thing gets close, I'm taking a swing at it.
Sure.
But I'm kind of like really letting the other guys handle this.
Okay.
Unless things change.
Yeah. Maddie.
Insight check to determine how tough this guy. I mean, he looks kind of tough, but it was
Looks pretty tough. You got a theme song and everything.
She kind of looks over her shoulder very briefly. What are you waiting for? Get out of here. And she will position herself so that she is the first one it will run into if it advances forward.
Okay.
But she is doing the full dodge action.
Got it. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
for
there
her,
we
it just looks like holding her rapier
go. Yes,
out.
yes.
at a
Just a
distance.
duelist pose.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
we can't do
well, no. Antoria wasn't trained in dueling.
That's true. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is.
If someone had just been smart enough to get in a night fight with Antoria, he would have been toast.
That's true. That's true.
And idiot that I am, I just kept throwing dragons at him. Farran.
Everyone seems to be on guard against this guy.
I think they're waiting to see what he can do.
I'm dressed like a noble.
That's fair.
I mean, I tried to engage. I'm just real bad. I'm super high.
How far away is he?
He's just walked into the compartment, so he's like 20 feet away.
Okay. Like I'm most effective in melee, but I don't know if I want to get in front of the professional shield.
That's fair. I mean, you can ready an action.
I think I will. Well, you can only ready one action though. You don't get any
With a specific trigger.
Yeah, you don't get any special bonus actions or anything
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Um,
You could do a backflip.
I
That worked
could.
last time.
Just like standing still.
Ranged attacks.
No, this is a robot. I gotta fight him.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, you've
Punch
been...
that robot.
I've got. I don't really have many options here.
Yeah,
I have-
fuck robots.
Come on. No, fight robots.
Oh.
So I'm like I have.
The fuck robots are a whole different one.
I love Fallout.
If you went to the spa car,
The fuck forged.
Oh, the spot card.
Don't.
so
That was a different kind of war.
I'm gonna approach because I have 30 feet of movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna draw the short sword and see if I can find a weak point.
Sure. Get in there.
Time to get in there. With a 7, so I don't think I'm getting in there so good. That's only going to total 12, so I'm gonna say that doesn't get in there at all.
I think you dart your sword forward and he just sort of
And
sidesteps.
yeah.
Man,
Which
remember when we were
little
kinda
did,
like,
little did you know
bastard.
that my sword attack was just a ruse. I'm going to kick him in the face.
I love head kicks.
That's the worst roll.
You roll up and do some capoeira, like whoop, kick, and like flash kick, and like just land,
Like looking
and
at
he's just like,
Well, that was exactly as effective as I was afraid it was going to be.
then he's gonna punch you with his arm. So his entire coil just sort of like lights up, and he doesn't actually like do like a full like sweep. He just sort of like aims it at you, and there's a burst of energy that flies out.
You gotta try, right?
Give me
I
a
had to
dex.
try.
Give me a dex save.
Okay, this is my first time making a dex save.
Congratulations.
So I just
Roll good.
I roll d20 and then add my.
Yes.
I'm proficient in
Yeah.
the dex save.
Don't forget about Grayson Hamanu.
So that's a 3.
Oh.
This may be worth. Can you use stress saves?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't think I want to get hit by this. I have 9 hit points. I think I would rather take 2 stress to
So,
Six
to
stress.
essentially.
So I will say before you do that,
Okay, go
that this
ahead.
is the kind of AoE thing where you are going to take
Half damage.
on a success.
Don't look at me.
But that, that still seems like it could be the difference between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like this seems right
I will
now.
also say that I have 2 dice in my hand.
I'm going to stress this.
Okay.
Which brings me up to 4 stress for today.
Is it
In
6
order to
stress
essentially like try and like roll with the punch.
There is definitely going to be some rolling. So you are going to, so you get pushed back 10 feet. You're still on your feet. And you take 3 points of shock damage.
Yeah, that's better than taking more than that.
Absolutely. Ries, you're up.
Oh, all right. Ries will kind of like sidestep so that nobody's in the way, and then he's gonna like conjure up some little crystals and then shoot a frost ray at him.
Okay.
Oh, look at you.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
you took combat spells?
Of course.
Nerd.
Would have been
Not
max
commit to
rate.
the bit.
23 hit.
23 does hit.
Good.
Look at
He's
us go.
slowed until the beginning of my turn. 10 feet, minus 10 feet. To his
Cool.
speed. And he'll take. Do you add damage to this?
No, not for cantrips
Okay,
usually.
6 damage.
Okay. Boop, 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 boop.
It's 100% damage.
He doesn't seem to like recoil or anything like that, but he does definitely seem to like frost up.
Nice.
Ix,
Pretty cool.
it's back to you.
Yeah, Ix will pick her crossbow up off the ground and sort of like, fuck, and lurch herself upright. And
Our arc's like, wasn't me.
she doesn't even like pay a second mind to that. She'll just reload and try to take another shot.
Okay.
There's a lot of heads and shit in the way, but I think that he's pretty tall. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Len ducks.
Well, I mean, you critically failed on the last one.
Did I?
All
There you
right.
go.
Natural 20.
That's good. So what is this new ammo? What kind of an effect are you looking for out of this?
So I was actually, I was thinking maybe something corrosive.
Yeah.
Okay.
To burn through
Like
metal
an
plating and
acid.
stuff.
Acid.
Okay. Yeah, I think that works. So just give me your critical rolls, and I'll apply corrosive stuff in addition.
8 physical damage.
Okay. Pretty good. This, I think, more than any other attack so far, like gets his attention. I think this like embeds itself in the shoulder up where the coiled arm meets his torso, and there's a very obvious like.
I'm gonna use my movement to fall back.
There's like a scissor. Well, you're already like at the very back of the car, right?
Okay, yeah, she's gonna be as far back from this dude.
Yeah,
as she can,
I think. Well, yeah, you've got like 50
5
feet on
feet.
him. You're good.
hit that door panel. Kids keep going.
Beep, 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 beep.
Eject
Cool.
off the back of the train.
Ark, you're up.
Alright, Ark's gonna step up. And I'll take my quarterstaff and just swing it down. Bonk.
Ix dies.
It's not great.
We all knew it was gonna happen.
Does an 11 hit?
It doesn't.
Okay, then I just kind of swing and hit the bottom of the car and be like, rush.
Lynn.
Lynn is going to sort of like slink back more, go to between the cars and try and figure out is there a way of separating cars.
Okay.
Now she's going to start looking into that as if this thing ends up behind her, she's going to ditch it.
Yeah, you could just separate our car. Deuces.
Okay, so you fall back to the interstitial where basically Ix is.
Are you in the interstitial or are you in the caboose?
Well, you guys are nowhere near the caboose.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Yeah,
Basically,
there's like
so,
6 cars.
Yeah,
between
so
you.
there was the high security car, and then the car connected to that. Ix just basically fell back to the door there. So she's
So you're
one.
at the inner. You're
she's
at the
one full
farthest
car
door-
length,
Okay,
car length.
and I'm at the interstitial
Here, I
between
see.
high security. So there's a car link between me and Ix.
So here's
So we
No.
went through the door,
Yeah.
so we're halfway down the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's
Everyone.
the high security car.
Yes, everyone's inside of it.
When the door here opened, Ix ran an entire
she's-
car back.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
she is as far away from this thing as she.
Okay, now I understand.
So
yes.
I'm at the interstitial. I'm not
Okay.
back where Ix
Yeah.
is.
All
And
right.
I'm there. I'm gonna like sort of like you go through the door. Those interstitials are wider than the door is, so I'm sort of like
Yeah.
tucked back. If the thing,
It's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
You can't hear the theme music as well
Oh, thank
from here.
God.
Yeah, it doesn't loop well.
So I'm gonna be out of the line of fire as there's bolts clearly flying, but I'm gonna try and figure out how to separate the
Sure.
cars and figure out if that's a thing.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
11.
11. You're not intimately familiar with this kind of mechanism. You might be able to find something with
Would
this.
I have researched this beforehand, though? Because this is the kind of thing that one would be prepared about.
You could, if you're trying to use stress to make this a success.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So can I just knock it to a success as one stress?
Yeah,
cost?
absolutely.
Okay, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah, that was 2, right?
Yeah, that's a 2 stress.
I thought that was 2 if it was opposed.
You're talking about flashbacks. This is turning a failure into a success. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
So it's 2. Ooh.
It's going to be 2. Well, you can make another attempt next turn with a flashback, but
And that would be 1 stress with the flashback assisting me.
maybe, yeah. Although it's kind of
I'll do it this turn.
it's kind of hard to justify the flashback of that particular nature, given that you've already failed this one.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take 2 stress to figure it out this turn.
Okay, cool. You find a small hidden panel that reveals basically an interconnected series of small flat stones with runes on them that make up the magnetic forces that hold the train cars together.
Sweet.
Maddie.
Indeed. She kind of looks at the 2 run past her. Out of here's the other way, and but she draws. She runs towards it. So where this bolt with corrosive acid hit, does that look like it's like melted some of the armor away, or is it not that?
A little bit, yeah. Like it's not like doing ongoing damage, but it's definitely like exposed a little bit of the innards.
So it might be a weak point.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, she will thrust there with her rapier.
Okay. Called shot, I think, is going to be disadvantage.
Oh, the whole idea was I was hoping I was getting it easier. Then I'll just take a normal shot.
It's gonna. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Well, I guess what is the trade-off then if it's not an easier?
Extra damage.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Do it. Be sad.
Is Maddie a gambler?
Not that much of one in this situation. She'll take a normal shot then.
Yeah. Like it's burned some of it away, but it's not a big enough hole to make an easier target.
Right. She gets a 22.
That's pretty darn good. I think you dart forward and jab, and sure enough, it sinks in.
Alright. And 4 piercing damage.
That's fine. It still seems to, like, you can tell there's a little bit of, like, is it oil? Is it blood? No one knows. But there's definitely some sort of, like, gush coming out of this thing. And this guy definitely seems to be like,
Okay.
good deal. Farran,
Well, as badly
he's got a
as that,
sword in him.
as badly as that went, my friends are, pressing the assault, so I'm going to step up and take another swing.
Yeah. Probably fine this time.
Okay, that is a total of 17
Pretty good.
with the short sword.
That will hit.
All right, good.
Slish.
Slash. That's 8 points of damage.
Nice.
Oh, jeez.
And I rolled good on my 6.
I think between the two of you, you're cutting him up pretty good.
And then I will still spin around and try and kick him in the head. This time, hoping that having injured him, it'll make it easier to get away with this. That is another 17.
Nice. That'll connect.
All right. Hey, let's put a D4 in the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that the 4 is the facing up?
yeah.
Okay, cool. It's been a little while. That's 7.
Nice.
So that's strong kick.
Okay, I think this guy takes his coiled up arm and it seems to like rev up. And rather than like directing it at either of you, he like slams it into the floor.
Yeah.
So we've got at least 2 people nearby.
I'm near.
You're nearby as well. Okay. What are your ACs?
15.
17.
If there were more doors open, I would have kept going.
I mean, there's 6 cars behind you. I rolled 2 19s on this roll. That was really good.
I think got it.
Okay, yeah, I hit all 3 of you.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. So each of you is going to take... No.
You're about to say 9.
Yeah, that was scary.
No.
No.
Nope, I rolled the wrong number. I'm sorry. Each of you takes 5 points of damage.
All right. Don't worry, guys. I have 1 hit point left.
And give me a con save.
Maybe you have.
You fail it, you take 1 damage.
Yeah.
You die.
Good night, everybody.
Remind me of whether you can or cannot stress attack rolls.
You
Yes.
can, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you can.
I have 14.
9.
17.
17. Okay. You feel like a wave of static energy like shiver through you. And
Express it?
you can, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Express it.
You feel like you're about to lose control of your body, but you manage to grit your teeth and push through it.
Yeah, things are pretty heated right now.
Yep. Ries.
Okay, I'll keep my caster distance here and fire another frost ray at him. Or wait, actually, yeah, frost ray. Hit. That should hit. 22.
22,
Nice.
that'll hit.
Yes. Keep him on ice, just like the crabs.
Don't
Just
remind me.
throwing crabs at him.
Nice. 7 damage.
I think that just given everyone's conditions, all of your attacks have crab particle effects anyway.
I like that Dark Souls mod.
I jump around, spin, kick 5 crabs, shoot
Yeah.
away.
We are the crab
I have a custom Eugen impact pack that is just entirely crab effects.
Shadow of the crab.
So, really quick, someone was asking, like, what does stress do? Stress is a thing that will eventually, like, build up over time and turn into, like, mental problems.
Trauma.
So it turns into trauma if you let it stack up. However, between adventures, players will have the opportunity to lose stress. We'll get into a little bit of that next week, I think. In this particular instance, however, I think that this fellow is just frosting over, and he looks like he was expecting maybe to steamroll through some stuff, and instead is like literally just like at this point covered in ice and crabs and more than a couple of slash wounds. Ix, your you're 2.5 cars away now. What's up?
Yeah, she'll reach back and open that car just in case she wants to fall back any further.
Okay.
She's gonna level the crossbow, and I'm gonna take the cold shot.
those doors are closing behind you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Did you not realize that?
What's that?
Like, did you imagine they were all just still open all the way?
No, I figured she fell back to the most. She fell back to the ones that were closed.
Right.
And she was just gonna open them in case she wanted to fall back further. But
Okay.
But she's not actually moving.
Okay, so you're just 1 car away then.
Yeah, so she's still in the same spot. I just figured she fell back to the
Okay.
very end of that car, basically had her back against the door.
Okay.
It was just like, well, insurance policy.
Yeah,
not
no,
bad.
that's fair.
You know, just in
You
case
know
I need.
what? These people can die if I live.
I mean, it
It's
seems
all
like
good.
everything's going good up there.
It seems that way.
But I'm gonna take the called shot for his shoulder joint.
Well, again, there's 2 closed
These
doors in
doors
between
close.
you.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were only open because someone was near them before.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Lynn is there.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize those closed on
Yeah.
like a timer.
Yeah, I think she's thinking they were swung open.
Yeah. No, they slide open. Like,
Got it.
Like groceries.
How long are the cars?
40 feet?
I can't move that far in a turn. All right. I'll hold action, and if those doors reopen, then she'll take the shot.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Arc.
All right, another swing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good.
good.
Does a 22 hit?
It does.
Okay, do some damages. Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
Does 9 bludgeoning damage.
All right. Still on his feet, not looking so good. Lynn.
Lynn is going to open up the doors again because there's been very powerful arrows flying through, and she's like, I kind of want to keep this going.
Okay.
Yeah, if the evil bot goes past her, she's going to try and hit it.
Okay.
She's hoping it'll bull rush the archer, but
I think that's a reasonable expectation. Maddie.
Do I get the shot?
Oh, yeah.
The door's open.
Oh,
I
you're waiting on a
triggered it
trigger.
wrong.
Yes, excuse me. Yeah, that's
So
fine.
I'm going to take the called shot.
Yeah, okay.
For the shoulder joint. That's a miss. I'll stress it.
Okay.
So I figure she's just like hands rattling as she looks down the slit between the doors, and she'll be like, and then when it's like they, and then she'll shoot between the slits.
Good deal.
right in my face.
Yeah. Plunk! Kill Lynn. I high five the robot. We take the treasure. As planned.
Arc right in the CPU.
My base damage is 6.
Pretty good. I think this one like embeds itself literally in like that face protector thing, and at this one he literally like and then collapses to the floor.
Yay!
Nice job.
Everyone's alive?
We're alive. I have a hit point.
That was probably loud.
That's the case, yeah.
Yes. Maddie will come over to you. You all right?
Ix will come sort of staggering. And she reaches into that bag and just like pulls out nothing and just like comes sort of staggering forward.
All right, let's. We should secure the goods we're here to get.
One moment, and Maddie has a hand on your shoulder and says, "Are you all right?" But even as she asks the question, you start feeling noticeably better. Restore 4 hit points.
Oh, thank you. I'll be like, the mission is our. Oh, thank you.
Lynn's like pulling out band-aids
Before
and bandages
anyone
and
shows
just
up,
stuffing
before
them
the
back
guys
in.
are lit.
Yes, the keys.
We were allowed there.
You were. The keys.
Let's do this. Key 1. You guys
Does
have
it
key
look
2.
like 2 people need to open it at the same time?
Yeah.
All right. And
While they're doing that,
Someone who's not on drugs.
I'll take the other key, and
Okay.
then we're gonna do 3, 2, 1, go, and you do it on go, right?
right.
3, 2, 1, go.
The doors.
Sweet.
Yep.
Reese is examining the corpse.
Yeah, I was about to say that is also what I was.
It's not clear necessarily that he's dead, but he is down for the count.
That is part of what. I was also interested
Yeah.
in determining.
Shove
See if anything
the
happens.
thing.
Yeah.
No.
If you get information,
Leave him
great.
here. He can take the blame for us.
Let's get the satchel. Where is it?
So there's maybe like a dozen things in here. One of them is the red leather satchel that you've been chasing. But there are some other accoutrements in here as well.
Like what?
Like what?
Well,
Crap.
most of it seems to be in satchels or boxes of its own self.
Let's just take it. We'll take it later. Check it all
Like,
later.
yeah, we'll check it later. We could stuff up now.
Any of it could be tracked, including what we're here for.
Well,
So,
trap
Matt-
later, trap now.
So, Maddie, Colette provided you with a very specific item. She gave you a ring of storage, which is basically sort of a very, very, very miniature portable hole. It doesn't have a whole lot of room, but it does allow you to store one thing away at least.
One thing, and the intent was to be able to store it away without touching it in the process? Or,
Yes.
Colette specifically gave me this so that we wouldn't have to touch it. She was worried about traps. We tried to move the rest of them. Who knows what happens?
The thing we're here to get.
Yes. And she uses the ring as she was instructed, which she seems a little uncertain about it. She's definitely not in Tori. I was like, there you go. And taps it while
You suck
we're
yourself
here.
into the ring.
So, as you like tap it, it's almost like it ripples out.
She aims it in the direction of the red leather satchel.
The satchel almost seems to like siphon, like. It's kind of gross sounding.
Ugh.
You hate it.
The crabs don't like it either.
But they're all clapping.
No. They're still very cold. They can't move fast when they're cold.
Well, that's what we're here for. Let's get out of here.
Agreed.
Do we close the door again on the safe? Make it look like we weren't here?
Are you hustling up with the rest of them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
it's already-
she
oh,
moved
alright.
the
Okay.
car, yeah.
Let's
Everyone
see-
give me a perception check.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Mine. Ooh, not so good.
21.
12.
12.
Ooh, I have 21. Oh, yeah. So.
You can hear some manner of commotion coming from further up the cars.
Incoming. If we go back a car, I can separate them.
Let's,
That's some distance.
yes.
Or
Let's throw the keys on the whatever the forge was. Whoever this person.
time's a factor. Let's just go.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
So, how big is this ring?
What do you mean?
The ring of storage.
Like physically?
Yeah.
It's maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller than like a high school ring.
Look like you could swallow it with reasonable.
discomfort.
I'll need a con check to see if you can get it down.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Well,
It's gonna fire off in your bowels. So, like, it's
Yeah,
gonna hit the
she's not doing it yet,
Let's
but I was asking her. She's not doing it yet, but she's not doing it yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So
And
you
then-
guys begin to beat a retreat back
We
towards.
go back a car,
towards the
but then
caboose.
I
Yeah.
So as you're leaving this one, you can see that some of the guards have rejoined Spencer, who seems to have come to his senses, and his tear-streaked, angry face is like. And he takes note of the collapsed Warforged, but continues down towards you guys in an angry stomp.
Medevra will toss some marbles on the floor.
He's gonna slip right out the back of the train.
Okay.
There's about to be a big gaping hole there. So
Okay.
yeah, I close the door of the car. Like I'm in the interstitial area. I close the door of the car. They're in. I separate us. And I step back through ours, and I
I
close
thought you
that
were
door.
gonna say
too.
just do yourself.
Yeah.
Do it yourself on the
Goodbye, adventuring party.
So the train behind Rachel's.
You're going to need to give me an Arcana check to disrupt the.
I assume we're all jumping
objects.
into the adjacent
Yes.
car. Yes. Yeah. The escape is implied.
13 gonna do it.
It is not.
I'm gonna stress it.
Okay. So I think you separate. You're fiddling with objects, turning them, trying to see which runes need to be removed from one another, and you manage to just barely like. And as you're pulling away through the open door, Weepy Spencer just leaps through and like grabs a hold of the door frame as it's pulling away, and he's sort of dangling over the hover stones.
This
You're not
isn't
gonna get away with this.
This isn't one for you to get hurt over, dear.
Bloody fuck, what are you doing?
Get me up, you scoundrels!
Oh, okay.
How much distance do how much
Our
distance
guard
do we
will like
have
start to reach, and
between
they're like,
the
wait a
cars?
minute.
Like, are the other guards able to join in, or is this?
No, they're pulling away pretty quickly. They're
Okay.
like 20, 40, 100 feet away at this point.
How about to fall and die is he?
I mean, he's dangling above a pretty fast-moving rail of magnetic stones.
Does he have his baton at his belt?
Yes.
Where is he in relation to me? Is he like on the ground?
He's like, he's like dangling.
But he's low. He didn't like come up high. At, like,
No. He's like literally like grabbing the bottom of the frame.
Ries is gonna find a crate to sit on, rifle through his cards and maybe.
Never has a frustrated look on her
I'm
face
not
and
super
starts
strong.
charging.
Let's go
It's
ahead
just like a
and
step
say.
back there.
Sure.
So did he ask all of us? He's just like, help me.
Yeah,
Or-
I think-
I think he's just begging. He's begging for his life at this time.
Ark is gonna actually start reaching forward.
I'll
Okay.
help him up. I'll help
Maddie's
him
also
up.
helping.
Oh wait, we weren't supposed to help. Oh.
We weren't supposed to murder him either. What's wrong with you?
And we cut back, I think,
Uh-oh.
where Inspector Graves is listening to all this.
That's how it happened.
And I will, and just as soon as she begins to speak, flabbergasted, irritated to hell, the door slams open, and a number of men come in and begin immediately taking off your handcuffs. What is the meaning? I'm not done with them. They're like literally like the gnome is like trying to like. And you're ushered out before Graves can put any more questions to you, despite the fact that her face is growing deeper and deeper and deeper red. And without too much more fuss, you're ushered out of the building and you know basically like kicked out. Your weapons are crammed into your hands. You're shoved out into the streets of Sharn's Depths as quickly as you came in.
What?
And you are met by two figures. You are met by the stained, weepy face of a House Kundarak guard, Weepy Spencer, accompanied by an impressively well-dressed woman with a sweeping hat, the form of Colette Irtraville, who simply smiles and says, "Well, good to see you made it out in one piece."
Well, that's...
And we'll pick it up there next week, I hope.
Nice.
Good game.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Good game.
You did it.
Hooray!
Man, thank you all.
I thought we were gonna blow up the train.
Yeah, you're in jail for murdering 500 people.
I mean,
Good work, Art.
it's the Athos crew.
You did it. No,
No.
this is a very different kind of
I know.
experience. No, it's a whole new ball game, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really happy. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much for this incredible gift. We're going to use that with the immediacy. Thank you, Lobos, for the help with the tech stuff and for having us on your channel this week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. If you're watching, please follow us on We Are Foxhound at twitch.tv. That's where you're going to see all of these adventures in Eberron week after week. If you came partway through, you can catch this on my YouTube channel. Put the episodes up the day after, so you can look for that. Thank you for struggling with us with the audio. We're going to fix that as soon as we can. Hopefully we'll have some lapel mics for everyone as soon as we can. Thank you to all of our supporters. Thank you so much for following. Thank you especially to our subscribers. Much appreciated. Anyone got anything else? Spectacular.
D&D is fun.
I like D&D.
Yay.
I'm so glad to be playing again, and I love playing with each of you. And I love getting to hang out with all of you each and every week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next Tuesday.
Bye, stream.
Bye.